down. Oh my god, if they caught Peter? Usurped Wonton Dumpling's position after they went down to 2, makes them vulnerable, and as you can start getting a crack onto a player rotating underneath them. The Arc Star stick that won't quite manage to land, but massive shots doing a fair chunk of damage. It's not even further up. They're going to worry about their next move. Might even get panicked by the engagement. Dumpling wanting to get aggressive and wanting to try to take some fight. They're really arc shots. I thought we were actually about to get a trident stun. So effectively, but yeah, okay, now on the north side we got IBG here versus MDY-WHITE and Dreamfire. It's a crazy. I mean, T4 have stayed there the entire time, hoping for a full getaway. It's definitely not going to be IBG trying to take them down. Yeah, another player flash as well. IBG, no doubt about it. They're going to try to push this one. They know they've got a massive advantage. And it's just moving life to Asia. They kept Ziggy up on the high ground, down onto MDY-WHITE, and that allows them to catwall and just get straight into this. And as the respawn is coming in, it might be just a second too late. It's not going to be too successful. Jason actually down early, and might be not going to work out too well. ACL, they're coming back with a vengeance. It's just Ziggy left alive now for IBG, and running out of bullets in that vault. He can get the reload off and is a contested round. Final start, straight into the thick of things here, as well as just an all-out brawl, and you're never getting away from that. At the back. Oh my god. Tracking. And then you get to see the action, and that's right. That's what we get now. What are we on? Outside here, number 6 in the lobby. If it game for them to win. We'll be doing a number onto them, and then some. Can they hold them off? Pressure on them. Wow, didn't want to use the automatic running. Bang punish me. Where are they? Right on the wall. Not dead. I'm ready for it. Underneath him, ready, just go, ready. They died. Another team. On your wall. Go left. Oh! Played out, honestly. Played out quiet. But, opens up with an 85. Bearclaw definitely keen to get on in there, and that's one down, now 2, so Akuma, well, they've made short work of kill double there. More than building, so they're okay there for the moment, but this... Oh my god, if they had have taken the fight a little earlier to KPG there, much less chance of a third hard. Fuzzy's still alive, by the way, in all of this. He's kind of just found a nice down below half HP, no shields either. Still a very losable one though. Charge rifle's not really what you want, but he's using it knocked off the start of the engagement, and outside might have the ability to turn this one back around. But he just wants to just get an eliminator right there. Oh, little entertainment might be following suit. Second here as well. AC! ATL. Oh, they're in the thick of things. There's lots to speak about here. Smokes everywhere. QQ on the ground now. FPS down as well. It's not, you can't really say, alright, we're done. Standings right now. They do make it into the zone. Can they make it any further? Oh, easy flash is going to go down. There's no doubt about that. There's just way too many crossfire angles here for Legends Gaming to deal with, and unfortunately their rough night is going to end as a rough night. It's not going to be much more than that. SWQ have popped themselves up in a second over DZ. A little bit quiet. Again, contest they've had to deal with contests, but at the hands of Fussy and Raki, booking quarters here, they seem to be getting Poland back up. Tries to play off the Radiant transfer there, going in just a little bit of a window, and it actually works out because it's actually for him. I want to play Jackie, but the pink here, Heroes not in a great, was very unfavorable position. Yeah, Heroes have kind of been in the final fight against AGL. Well, AGL are running for a top spot in this lobby now, 56 points. I'm not sure exactly how many Burger ended up on, but they might still be able to catch up with a win right here. And Jackie, FPS QQ, they're trying their best. FPS is down on the ground. He's gone, done and dusted, but it is still going to be AGL. They'll have to try to clear the rest of things down. It looks like maybe they have to. The Watson pylon doesn't plan it out well enough. kind of live because MDY-WHITE haven't just been eliminated. Blingo and I, they've decimated.
Ultis going to start coming out. Once those energy barricades go up, it could really reduce their space. I love this mobile res beacon here from Wonton to find
difficult angles to deal with, and they're playing desperately with the bank smokes to make a cross in the high ground. Again, they're looking for a little bit of work as well. And to talk about a corner run or a trench run for DNZ, that's just not one that you're trying to bring. Heroes looking pretty well set up there with all the Wonton fences all over the place. And we'll go back over to MDY-WHITE here and see how they're going to go.
Yeah, hold the phone. We've got a 2v1 now in favor of the Devils. Can they just make this happen? He's got massive in a blue shield and a couple of big pumps from the shotty.
Across as well, and this will be where it really starts to kick off. Final start, and I've already lost Seltzer down on the ground. W is about to fall as well, and final start obviously is key to their gameplay. Lots of coming out of all that they haven't been able to do. There's a little bit of cover up there as well.
Oh my god, if they caught Peter? And then usurped one from Dumpling position after they went down to 2, makes them vulnerable, and as you can start getting a crack onto player rotate. ALGS White managing to land, but Matthew just got to make damage and Dumpling wanting to get aggressive and wanting to try to take some fights. There's WC and continue to look for these fights. And they're barely even being shot. I thought we were actually about to get a trident stun. Boogie board so effectively, but yeah, okay, now on the north side we got IVG here versus MDY-WHITE and Dreamfire. It's a crazy. I mean, Team Orb stay there the entire time, hoping to pull their way. It's definitely not going to be because IVG is trying to take them down.
Yeah, another player flash as well. IVG, no doubt about it. They're going to try to push this one. They know they've got a massive advantage, and this just blue life for Asia. They kept picking up on the high ground.
Down onto MDY-WHITE, and that allows them to catwall and just get straight into this. And as the respawn is coming in, it might be just a second too late.
Successful, takes the tank down early, and this might be not going to work out too well. APL, they're coming back with a vengeance. It's just 60 left alive now for IBG, and running out of bullets in that vault, needs to get the reload off, and is able to contest the round. Final start, straight into the thick of things here as well. It's just an all-out brawl, and you're never getting away from nothing but danger. He's very efficient at the back.
Oh my god.
Cracking. And then you get to see the action, and that's right. That's exactly what we get. Now what are we on? Outside here, number 6 in the lobby. Be a big game for them to win.
Jump down! I killed him! Chill. Just play up.
Place for that lobby. Going to be doing another one to them, and then
can they hold them off?
So far, trying to put the pressure on them. Works are looking at. Yeah, Levy didn't want to use the zip line.
I'm batting. Bang punish me.
Where are they?
Right on the wall.
Cut it. I'm moving forward.
Underneath in the get ready, just go. Ready. They died.
Another team.
On your wall. Kill it.
Worry about, honestly, just play it out, be quiet here on the roof fight. Oh, opens up with an 85.
Ooh. Well, Killapos is definitely keen to get on in there, and that's one down, now 2, so Akuma, well, they've made short work of kill double there.
More than building, so they're okay there for the moment, but this is just chaos. Grinders where, like, you know, they just hot drop every single game, and that kind of, oh my god, if they had have taken the fight a little earlier to KPG there, much less chance of a third party.
Fussy's still alive, by the way, in all of this. He's kind of just found a nice down below half HP, no shields either. Still a very losable one, though. A charge rifle's not really what you want, but he's using it to stop the start of the engagement, and outside might have the ability to turn this one back around. This is gone. Just like the Unicorn do just get eliminated right there. Overlooked entertainment might be following suit in just a second here as well. AC! First for this lobby. AGL, oh, they're in the thick of things, and there's lots to speak about here. Smokes everywhere, QQ on the ground now, FPS down as well. It's just, you can't really just say, all right, we're done. And
standings right now, they do make it into the zone. Can they make it any further?
Well, Easy Flash is going to go down, there's no doubt about that. There's just way too many crossfire angles here for Legends Gaming to deal with, and unfortunately their rough night is going to end as a rough night. It's not going to be much more than that. SWQ have popped themselves up in a second over DNZ. A little bit quiet. Again, contests, they've had to deal with contests, but at the hands of Fussy and Raki, bookie boarders here, they may be getting Bolin back up.
Tries to play off the Radiant transfer there, going in just a little bit of a window, and it actually works out because it's a little bit
Actually, for him, oh, it plays
Jackie, but oh, the peek from Lahey. Heroes not in a great, was very unfavorable position.
Yeah, Heroes have kind of been
Get the
corralled.
final fight against AGL.
Well, AGL are gunning for a top spot in this lobby now, 56 points. I'm not sure exactly how many Burger ended up on, but they might still be able to catch up with the win right here. And Jackie, FPS QQ, they're trying their best. FPS is down for the ground. He's gone, done and dusted, but it is still going to be AGL. They'll have to try to clear the rest of things down. It looks like maybe they have just found...
The Watson pylon doesn't plan it out well enough.
I might have lied because MDY-WHITE have just been eliminated. Blinker and I, they've been decimated.
Ultra's going to start coming out. Once those energy barricades go up, it could really reduce their space. I love this mobile.
Your undisputed champions of APAC-South in the ALGS.
Such a good spot here. Provides any much coverage for Popcorn. Bradley kicks down and out already. Bristol strike there.
About to go down. 1v1, 1v1.
Oh, what? Oh, Shady. He finds the target.
Hey, that's going to be a punishing blow.
Tree is covered. Fly high to Senpai. The wraparound is perfect.
What? No! Lotka overextends, so does Kashira!
Does get spotted out. The pings go down. Oh my god!
It's the 360! What a beast!
Hello and welcome everyone to the APAC-South Pro League. We'll be covering all the Apex action here in Split 1. My name is Lace, and we are here to bring you all the hype and passion from the APAC-South region. And it is the final week of our Pro League where our groups go head-to-head to solidify a spot for the regional finals. And we are the Long Shot production, and it's excellent to join you guys again on the Play Apex channel. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's go and roll out the red carpet for our wonderful casters. I'm joined once again by the global sensation Genome and the goddamn legendary Elfish. Elfish, great to have you back this week. How are you feeling going into our last week of the group stages?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, look, obviously it's going to be a big week. We've got a lot to talk about with all those changes coming through from the big patch and, you know, only 1 week basically for these teams to kind of get themselves sorted into that top 20 to make it into the final lobby. So, you know, there's a lot of things kind of on my mind at the moment, and I'm sure we're going to break them down as we go through this pre-show and through the games. But, yeah, it should be a big week of competition for sure, and a lot of teams are going to be, unfortunately, missing out at the end of it, which will be disappointing for them, but quite a few that, you know, be feeling pretty good going through to the finals next week.
Exactly. It's been a journey for them for the first couple of weeks, and then, you know, hit them with Season 20, so then they've got to learn an entire new type of meta, so it's going to be exceptional to watch today. And Genome, hopefully you've had a nice little 2-week break. I know you would have been up late studying all the changes to Apex Legends, but are you ready to see how our teams take on these new Season 20 changes?
Yeah, you bet. I mean, yeah, it didn't feel like much of a break to me. I was, as you say, I was in there every day, you know, either watching scrims, playing the game myself, trying to work out, trying to theory craft how all these new changes are going to affect the competitive version of Apex Legends. And, you know, we'll get to it in a bit, but there's been, yeah, there's some big changes, and they will affect what we're going to see today quite a bit.
Yeah, I'd had some time to get my hands on a game, but, you know, my level is nothing like these, you know, professional teams. So it's going to be a little bit different to see how they take the changes. And like you said, we'll touch on that in a moment's time. But, you know, our region always seems to show us what they're made of, no matter what is thrown at them. So let's take a look at the ALGS format video. You know, we've seen it before, but we're going to put it in here again, and let's show you how everything is going to run.
The Pro League is comprised of 2 regular season splits. The Split 1 regular season features 4 regions made up of 30 teams, seeded into 3 groups of 10 teams each. Pro League teams will begin by competing in a triple round-robin format, where each group plays a match series against every other group 3 times. After these matches have been completed, the top 20 teams according to the regular season standings will compete in the regional finals. At the conclusion of the regional finals, 40 teams, including teams from all 6 ALGS regions, will have qualified for the Split 1 playoffs.
So at this point, that should just be etched into our brains by now. But as we hit week 5 in Split 1, this is what our schedule looks like. We're only a week from the regional finals, Genome. We have just had a hell of a start to Split 1, and we are itching so much closer.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right, that we're having this massive change at the end. Of course, that's why we did have a little bit of a break there, just to give the players a chance to work their way through those changes and see those reflected in the game ahead. But yeah, this week and of course regional finals will be played with that whole new perk system and the new Evo upgrade system as well.
Yeah, exactly right. But at the end of the day, what are these teams going to be playing for? You know, they got to get themselves onto the board. They need to accumulate some points because, you know, fame and fortune doesn't come easy to these teams. So we're going to have individual matches. We'll have the traditional ALGS scoring, you know, the traditional 12 points for first, 9 points for second, and so on. Of course, 1 point per kill. You know, we've seen teams like Wonton, Dumpling really focusing heavy on these kill points, making it, you know, exciting entertainment. Elfish. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to have a bunch of teams in the series points. You know, we have ourselves a leaderboard, so they're going to be showcasing that now. Elfish, let's have a look at this tournament scoreboard. It has been an absolutely amazing start to our Split 1. Why don't you take us through?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing to be looking at today is that 20th place cutoff position, which at the moment is Overlooked Entertainment, sitting on 38 points overall. I mean, feasibly, anyone all the way down to T4 could still catch that and could still manage to make it into the final lobby, which is kind of what everyone really needs to be focusing on, at least for the teams that are sort of on that bottom third of the scoreboard, because at the end of the day, like we've seen before, anyone can win in that final lobby. It really does come down to, you know, that match point format. So a possibility that, hey, even right now, T4 could still potentially win the entire season, as unlikely as that is. Obviously, they need to have a pretty good day today. I believe they're going to be playing in both lobbies at least, so that'll give them the opportunity to sort of play, you know, and get extra couple points on the board. But yeah, realistically speaking, you know, most of the teams inside of at least say probably the top 10, probably the top 15 even, are looking relatively safe to make it through to next week, which I think for at least this week is probably the focus. But again, in terms of the overall standings for the split, you do want to be maximizing your points just so you can get as much prize money on the other side of things, plus potentially make your way through to land. So still a lot to play for everyone in the lobby at the moment, but I think really the meat and potatoes of the conversation today should probably be mostly about those teams sort of sitting around the 20th sort of overall placing position.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, we've seen like our big hitting teams, you know, Legends Gaming and all that. But today, yeah, we do really need to focus on those teams that need to make it into what Genome likes to call the bubble. So, you know, go to sit in those top 20. But we're going to get into the juicy stuff. We're going to get into all the new changes of this. You know, I'm sure everyone at home has had the chance to play the new season with all the major changes to the game. But we have one critical change that we'd like to discuss thoroughly, and that is the Evo armor. So
yeah, so Evo armors now, as you can see by this graphic, Lace, they've changed the numbers it takes to upgrade. Obviously, there were some numbers before that were purely based off damage, but now with all of the sweeping changes that we've had to the upgrade system, it's not only the damage that counts towards this anymore. So you can see you can get there if you're a mad fragger, I guess. You could not do any of the objectives, you know, not do any of the PvE, whatever else on the map, and you could just get there by doing 3,800 damage if you wanted to get all the way to red. But more likely, what you're going to see when we show you all the different ways that you can collect Evo points, there'll be it'll most likely be a collection of those events that gets you to those upgrades. So, you know, ring console, you know, pinging those. It'll be you get extra points for finishing teams, for you know, for team wipes, all that kind of stuff. And here is the full list.
Exactly. So, you know, I feel it's kind of nice. I wanted to touch on that, you know, teams aren't just going to land on a purple shield anymore from luck. There are several ways that teams can upgrade their Evo shield. So, Elfish, why don't you take us through some of the ways that players can obtain some Evo points?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is really, I guess the takeaway kind of is you just play the game, right? Like, that's kind of the point of it, is that you play the game, you pick up your bins, you pick up your knocks, you get some damage. You basically get Evo points for doing really just things that you're going to do by playing the game. So the TLDR is really just play the game, play it better than everybody else, and in theory you're going to sort of continue to compound those advantages and get further and further ahead. Now there are better ways, obviously, of getting points. You can, as we've said, ring console scans, they give you a fair bit, and these kinds of things, as opposed to, you know, chip damage that you're getting from long range isn't necessarily going to give you a whole lot. But it's sort of similar in the sense that, you know, everything kind of contributes, and at the end of the day, as long as you're not like basically just sitting inside of a building doing absolutely nothing, you are going to be working on your Evo, and I think that's kind of the big takeaway.
Yeah, exactly
And
right. Yeah, sorry, exactly right.
I was just going to add one thing there, Lace, which was like my big takeaway from this is that, right, and that's that essentially if you don't have 3 different classes, like let's say you've got a controller character, a recon character, and an assault character, something like that, you're kind of throwing at this point, because you give a lot of team-wide Evo buffs by having all of those options available to you, because sometimes your ring console won't spawn and you might have to rely more on you know, getting those perk bins, or you know, maybe scanning a survey beacon as you go around the map. And then of course the other thing that really changed things is the Evo harvesters, and as you can see, you know, they give you 350. That's one of the biggest you know, dollops you can get in this Evo system. So you will see teams pathing towards their end game goals and circles, going through and past those Evo harvesters to make sure they maximize their Evo.
Exactly right. And those Evo harvesters, you know, they just spawn randomly around the map. I do believe it's about 40 seconds from ring 1 when they become active. So it is a simple way to do it. Like you touched on, Genome, if you don't have the scan characters to do the beacons and stuff, teams might have to look at exactly rotating into those Evo harvesters. But, you know, our professional teams have had a couple of weeks to undergo the new meta changes and how all the upgrades and everything works. But, you know, it's going to get access to a skill tree. So, Genome, I want you to take us through this, just because we're going to have different character changes. These pros have gotten different characters into the meta, and then having these, you know, we're going to touch on a couple of core meta changes. So that's Bangalore, Bloodhound, and Caustic. And we can see exactly how their skill trees work and why teams have selected these for their competition.
All right, so yeah, as you said, that's the predominant team composition that we're seeing at the moment, Lace. Bangalore, Bloodhound, Caustic. So just walking through those legends, if you guys haven't had a chance to play, or you've been wondering what the pros are using when they choose those perks and upgrade their levels, Bangalore first here, still a strong character. I mean, obviously one of the big changes we've had is that digital threats are no longer available on SMGs, right? You can only use them on pistols and on shotguns now. So yeah, Bang, you often get with ultimate cooldown, obviously very strong ultimate, and then I feel like there's a little bit more choice in that level 3 upgrade, but most people I think I have been seeing going for the Cover Me perk.
Yeah, exactly right. So, you know, I haven't had my chance to sort of jump onto Bangalore, but watching a lot of scrims today, we'd noticed that, you know, that's what they've been going for. You know, it seems like a bit of a spread throughout it. And like I said, you know, a lot of people are now picking up Bloodhound. We didn't get a chance to see the skill tree there, but Bloodhound has been absolutely a major pick. And I do feel like the skill that they have done has been quite similar over the picks as well. So we can have a look. We'll take a look at the quick beacon. We're going to see where these teams are landing today for World's Edge. Elfish, why don't you take us through these drop spots?
Yeah, nothing too really major to touch on. Obviously, you've got that one little contest over toward Lava Fisher, but besides that, everyone seems to be pretty comfortable, pretty happy. Good spread. Akuma MXF is really going to be the only one that we're certainly looking forward to, at least for this first lobby on World's Edge, but I'm sure over the course of today there's going to be plenty more where that came from.
And what I'll just say there as well is, you know, it has changed quite a lot because of these changes. You know, POIs with PvE options like Trials, the only one, is now one of the most important changes on World's Edge. So teams will generally loot a little bit slower and will path towards those final circles a little bit slower as well, going by the Evo Harvesters.
Yeah, I also wanted to touch on, like, we've obviously brought up with Evo stuff. So, you know, Evo Harvesters and stuff randomly spawn and teams are dropping with white shields. You know, we touch on where teams used to drop on purple shields, you know, which is pure luck. It may feel like it's a little bit more simple, but let's go have a look at how these teams are changing with Season 20. Match 1 is underway. This is World's Edge.
Indeed it is, and it's time for us to jump into Game 1, A and C lobby, and it's time to get a bit of an idea of what APAC South is going to bring to the table with regard to all of these changes that we see coming through into the new season, and already contest is going to begin with a little bit of an exchange. Again, we did mention that one on map there, so it's going to be a difficult one for MXF by the looks of things. Akuma just getting on top of that one pretty comfortably, and really not a whole lot to touch on, unfortunately, for MXF.
It's an interesting contest as well, right, Elfish? Because obviously they're trying to split, or not trying to split, they're trying to take control of both Lava Fissure and Mirage Etoile. So it's like, how do you decide where to contest, right? Like, does one team land Mirage and one team land Lava Fissure, and then they run into each other? You know, do you have to react to that mid-air and think about, you know, watch where the other team's going to decide where you end up? Or is there sort of a gentleman's agreement between the two teams that, like, okay, we're going to contest, but it's going to happen on Mirage Etoile? It's actually quite an interesting one.
Well, it's something that we'll, I guess, keep an eye on as we head into the next couple of games of World's Edge, because there may be a world where MXF just decide that, yeah, maybe we don't want to have that hot drop contest. We'll still contest, but we'll potentially be the one to drop toward Lava Fissure instead, and maybe take the fight that way. Now, actually, quickly here, we should take a look at those legend comps. A little bit of a variety, actually. You're seeing a lot of Wonton in there. There's a little bit of Valkyrie here and there as well. So, you know, it's not exactly all what we spoke about. In fact, I would say, I don't know, even maybe only 50% of the teams here are running that Bang, Caustic, and Bloodhound comp.
Well, I think that is actually kind of standard if we're looking across the regions for the moment. I think NA ran roughly 50% of that composition. In EMEA, it was a little bit more varied. They had about 30% Bloodhound, Bang, Caustic. And they also had some other fun picks. Like, we saw a couple of lifelines come out over in EU. So, who knows? Maybe if we go across the Storm Points, some people will change it up. But yeah, that's, I think 50% is, you know, kind of standard. But at the same time, it's also less variation than we saw in the previous meta at the start of this split.
Yeah, KPG under a bit of pressure right here. They've already lost one member, and Legends Gaming is as Legends Gaming does. They're going to be happy to run at that fight, at least for the moment. Strafing taking a fair bit of damage there, though. Prompt them to back off, and a nade as well. So KPG fighting back, and Legends Gaming, I don't know if they're even going to be able to revive Strafing easily here. They obviously gave KPG enough time to get the res of their own. So now it's actually KPG that are on top in this engagement, 3-on-2, and well, they're the ones that are on the hunt at the moment. So Legends Gaming, that has turned the tables on them for sure.
I mean, that was massive. Yeah, I think it was basically just like a, you know, a throwaway kind of nade, right? Like, hey, we're just trying to get to our spot. Like, leave us alone. You know, toss a nade behind you to try and dissuade the other team, and yeah, it landed. They're actually thinking about going back for the res now, because KPG, interestingly, didn't want to finish it off. They're too worried about getting their spot and getting priority in zone, so they have taken an evac over to Lava Fissure. They'll get a good spot, and Legends Gaming will walk away with their full trio back up and running. So honestly, kind of good news for both teams.
Yeah, we're going to get used to seeing this, aren't we, now as well, where as soon as you walk into a building, there's a caustic trap somewhere around the corner. I mean, it's one of those things, I suppose. It's obviously information for the team that has got that caustic trap, and a minor nuisance for the team that's walking into the building, but obviously, at least on World's Edge in particular, we're going to be seeing a lot of caustic, and maybe not so much on Storm Point, but even then, still been seeing a little bit of that here and there. And the issue is, like, the more caustics you see, you kind of see more caustics, you know?
100%. It's almost like it's just like self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Where it's like, people just hate playing as other caustics unless you have your own caustic. You know, you hear people in the comms all the time, right? They'll be shouting out like, if there's caustic traps or a caustic ult that's gone off, they'll be like, hey, okay, you have to push in. This is all you. We can't see anything. We're going to take damage. Like, you have to be the entry fragger now as the caustic. So I think you often will see a lot of those entry fraggers on that character.
Well, it's an interesting discussion I was seeing as well, I think a couple days ago, about who should be playing the Bloodhound and who should be playing Bangalore as well. Because, you know, should your Bloodhound be like your best fragger, or should it be your IGL because they can get the info easier? And there's lots of conversations going around about that. I don't know that there's been a consensus. Maybe you have a better insight onto that than I do. But from what I've seen, it seems like different teams, like, you know, they'll have different, like certain players or whatever roles on different legends, if that makes sense. And there's no like across the board. Yeah, we're going to have our controller player, for example, playing the Bangalore or the Bloodhound or whatever.
Oh, Legends Gaming trying to go for their second reset of the game, and they get it. Strafing Flamer's revive timer is going to be getting pretty short at this time. KeepGoing Gaming also going for a revive in the middle building of Lava Fissure. But yeah, going back to that talk, now that these teams have stabilized, I think there's actually good arguments on both sides. One of them being, you know, obviously you have more IGLs on MNK, and one of the big advantages that we sort of didn't get to talk about before of having Bang and Blood on the same team is now that with Digi-threats less prevalent, popping Beast of the Hunt and having that ultimate, you have Digi-threat sight at long range now, because Digi-threats couldn't even do that before, but Bloodhound ult does. So if you've got ARs and you're running and looking at that through smoke at mid to long distances, that can really help having your MNK player on the Bloodhound. But yeah, by the same token, you know, sometimes you want that ability to get out and scout forward quickly, and that's what Bangalore gives you. So yeah, there's a bit of an overlap here, and I agree, it's a hard problem to solve.
I mean, well, I guess I feel like we're still pretty early on in that whole discussion, right? It's only been a couple of weeks since the changes and since these new comps have, or not new necessarily, but these compositions have started to come back to prevalence in the meta. So it'll be something that develops, and maybe in a few weeks' time we will have a little bit more of a set idea of where we should be at. Peju gonna have to drop the Bangalore smokes there to heal on up, copying a lot of damage for MDY-WHITE, who seem to have been putting in a bit of work. They've got one set of reds and a couple of sets of purples as well, so doing pretty well on that Evo so far.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Being given the opportunity really to use it just yet. There's going to be a caustic ulti toss on in as well. If they're thinking about pushing off the back of that. That is a lot of damage. What a great pickup. I'm not sure that that's going to really prompt much of an aggression though in the end from MDY-WHITE, because it probably just came through half a second too late to really punish. They're going to have a look.
Target spotted.
Oh my god, landing Monument and Fragment. Yeah, the fact that Phaedra's up to red already, pretty incredible. I can only imagine he got an Evo cache to get him up there already. I don't think it's even possible to sort of do enough, even grab enough like Evo harvesters and whatnot to be on there. Otherwise, also, you know, his teammates would probably be there too, or even just enough damage, because if you...
He's only got 200 damage.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so yeah, had to have been, I guess.
Yeah. You get 1 Evo point per damage, so, you know, every little bit helps, but it's not going to be the biggest of contributors unless you're having like a massive game. And then I'd say probably largely it's going to be coming from your knocks and your kills anyway. So regardless of that fact, we should take a look at the zone as it's pulling back over toward Lava Fissure. Most teams have called that one relatively correctly. We saw the initial movements at least going in that direction, and the rest of the squads have kind of filtered into Countdown to sort of take the sloppy seconds in a sense. You can see Team Burger up there have been sort of quietly flying under the radar a little bit on the northern side of the map. Pricey, Way, and Sharky taking it quite a relaxed approach. And, you know, again, this is one of those situations where you kind of have to ask yourself, like, is this the right approach now, as opposed to what we would have seen in the previous seasons? Because you might be having a bit more difficulty kind of getting the Evos. Like, they're all sitting on blues, which is not a bad place to be necessarily, but you have teams that are running around with like double purple and a red, for example, that have been fighting and that have been looting and doing this and that. you know, and you're essentially kind of like sitting in this wonderful part of your own territory, maybe you're putting yourself at a bit of a disservice for later on down the track. And well, here's one thing that we were talking about a little bit earlier. Bloodhound at mid-range with an AR, that Havoc doing some good damage.
Yeah, Turbo as well. I mean, Havoc obviously being one of the big pickups this season. If you can get it with the Havoc, it is deadly. X and Y, they actually took it down there from White Flash, but White Flash, again, kind of like KeepGoing Gaming earlier in this game, very much happy to just play safe and push back. They don't finish off the kill, so a couple of KP going begging there for these teams.
Yeah. I mean, I go back to that previous point. I just wonder if it's a little bit better to sort of try to be a bit of a more proactive team. You know, are you going to be benefited maybe from being like an edge-based team rather than someone that just crashes center and sort of sits in a building for the entire game and tries to pick the circle correctly? I think it's definitely more of a discussion now than it was previously, where you could still kind of get your evos just from doing chip damage. So being central wasn't necessarily as maybe big of a deficit necessarily, but
yeah,
like it's a little bit harder now to do that.
You didn't have to like think about it the whole way through the game, right? It was kind of like it was going to happen or not. Like you got the shields that you started with, and then you did damage as game went on, and yeah, like maybe if you really needed to upgrade from like blue to purple, you'd look for some extra poke and trade your meds for that. But now you kind of have to think about it the whole way through, because yeah, you know, maybe you're rotating past an Evo Harvester. You know, maybe you need that team wipe to get to the next level, because you can't sit on blues all game, right? Like that is a significant disadvantage, as you said, when you're going up against the teams who've managed to find a way to level up further than you.
You can't just swap it out later on in the game either. That's not how it works. I mean, you get that swap for what is like 30 seconds, you get bonus armor basically, and then it resets it, goes back to essentially what your Evo is. So yeah, anyway, we'll talk about Team Burger since they're on the topic list at the moment, it seems like. Lost Pricey already, and Way struggling a little bit as well. Going to have to pop himself that bat. Beast of the Hunt running out. It doesn't really look like Team Burger are in a particularly enjoyable position here. There's not a lot of cover to play with. Down a member and having to make a pretty big rotation. As we mentioned as well, still sitting on the blues, and for the most part we're kind of looking at pretty much most of the lobby actually sitting on purples, at least at this point. So it'll be a tough game ahead for Team Burger.
Yeah, it's a shame too. They've got that position up on the hill over the other side of the train tracks, which is actually an excellent position for this ring. In fact, I would say Godspot, maybe the building on the other side, potentially. One of the two best spots in the game, and they've only got there as a duo. So they are, you know, with all these Bloodhounds in the game, obviously people are going to be scanning them. They are very susceptible to a push. Not good here for Team Burger.
No, certainly not. Bearclaw Gaming also in an engagement at the moment. That one does not last very long. MDY-WHITE are taken down very quickly indeed.
Wow.
Jump back over to Countdown for a second and have a look at what's happening there. Got a team down on the low ground having some troubles. I
mean, that was the team we said, right? They should be bullying other teams because they had such a huge early armor advantage. So for them to go down this quickly is, you know, really not playing towards their win condition of yeah, just trying to win those early fights.
Well, it doesn't always go to plan. And armor ain't everything. Get stuck in a bad position. It's still pretty easy to get melted in a game like Apex Legends. Speaking of which, Full Engage as a duo might be suffering much the same kind of a fate. Johnny Dang going to try to drop a bat here, but realistically speaking, how are you going to get out of this one alive? That's a nice little crack there. The R99, 100 damage in one clip, but not going to be enough to really save the day. And T4 is an interesting team. Second for the lobby at the moment. They've been putting in work, and they definitely need to be putting in work if they want to make it through to next week. They're sitting at the bottom of the overall standing, so they need 2 big lobbies today to keep themselves in the mix.
They do, and they just took a big scalp to do it, Elfish. That was Wonton Dumpling they just took out at Mirage Artois. So obviously a team that's no slouch. They're almost locked for land at the moment, so maybe they're not locked in today.
Ooh, Serenity. This will be a difficult one to make work, but it looks like they've actually found a nice moment of respite. Can't say the same for White Flash as they are taken out, and VK Gaming will be the spoils, or victors of the spoils. Did at least lose one of their members on that engagement, but overall,
Oh,
Not too bad. There's a stick from the Arc Star, and that's going to do some real nice work. Unix is taken down, looking for the flush there as well, and it's going to be even better than that. T4 eliminated in the blink of an eye. They've gone from, second top in the lobby to no longer taking any part. Not sure the job is going to get too easy, though, for BK Gaming here with Legends on the cliff above them.
yeah, Legends are, because they're covering all the angles right now. From up on high, and VK, it was, Arcstar's stick plus some nice work from a Disruptor alternator that helped them take out T4 there, but as you say, I don't know if they're going to make it out of this circle.
Well, X and Y taking it a little easier. So they're on a pretty busy side of the zone, and they do have to move pretty far. Got the Valkyrie, which obviously does aid in the rotations usually, though in this kind of circumstances, not so sure it will. No Caustic either could potentially be a bit of a problem if they're going to have to go through or into one of these buildings. Burger gets taken down on the other side of the map.
You can see where the ring's pulling up in the mini-map just to your left there. LU have actually taken over that spot across from the tracks. They're spread out and holding that pretty well, ready to EMP anyone who tries to pull in there. Team Burger did get taken out. They actually took up a less, enviable spot, I think, just to play small, but unfortunately it didn't work out for them.
Well, KPG have set themselves up quite a nice fortress here. The only thing that would make it even better is probably having a Caustic maybe instead of a Bangalore, and then you'd have really an impossible building to push. But with the Watson fences, it's still going to be pretty tough. X and Y are trying to deal with that. Wow. A little bit of damage back and forth so far, but no real commitment. And you can just see how busy that building is getting, and, well, there's all the visual clutter with the smokes everywhere. Unfortunately for X and Y, they are running out of options as they're now down a couple of members, and XD just trying to get some last-ditch bits of damage down, but runs out of bullets and can't finish anything off. And now it's KPG who will turn things back on their head. Lots of damage coming down again, and it's just an absolute mess. It's just, what on earth is even going on here?
I mean,
in the middle of nowhere or in the middle of everywhere, and just getting absolutely booked.
I cannot imagine trying to be an IGL in that moment. I mean, what do you do? What do you call it that? I'm getting stressed just thinking about it. Like, I think you just have to do as much damage as you can, maybe try and pick up some KP, and maybe you limp out of there with one leg and a crutch, because it just felt like an impossible moment for those teams pulling out.
Akuma, on the other hand, are in a fairly envious position, actually, given they've got control of the top level of that building.
Strafing play.
He's not doing well. Heck, though. Hanging on for Bearclaw Gaming. And getting into the placement points and getting some damage down there as well. Legends Gaming out of the picture. We're down to 4 squads remaining. Heck is certainly going to get pushed in a second here. Akuma having a bit of a look as to whether or not there could be a third party around, but Killerpos is ready to take that fight. So far, no connections. And Heck is just trying to get out of there, but where do you even go? There is nowhere to go. All angles covered. Lightning Unicorn on top of the building. EMP is going to go through as well, cause a bit of a ruckus. Set things up nicely for the final remaining 3 teams. Lightning Unicorn being one of them.
They're getting a little bit more active now. They were playing back, just playing their spot on the north side, which made a lot of sense. But now that the other teams have had to engage, you can see them taking good spots. Jackute, doesn't get the top of the building, but they've still got ultimates in the bag. They've got the Caustic ultimate. They've also got EMP and the Rolling Thunder. So you will see all of those used now to try and capitalize on this last dying moments of Game 1.
Well, Akuma certainly seems like the healthiest of teams available. Nice couple of taps there with the triple take and maybe 1 or 2 more. Preemptive reload from Yukoi, but more than happy to chase this Caustic down. And might have bitten off more than could be chewed, but it is still Akuma alive in the one-on-one, I believe. It's Killerpos.
Yeah. Killerpos versus Jackute here. Actually going for the revive. I think they're calling out that this is happening. Nades go in through the window.
Play to bring around the Rosie. Killerpos just jumps off right past Jackute. Fight still happens. I mean, he's got a 30-30 repeater. Not the ideal gun, but Akuma is still going to walk away with the victory in the end. That was a strange end zone, actually. But a little bit of fun, and there you have it. First game on the wraps.
Oh, that was great. Akuma closing it out there with quite a few kills. VKGaming also picked up a couple. A couple of teams, yeah, really just picking up a brace of kills there, Lace. And yeah, it was a fun little finish. Couple of super glides there, you know, just to try and outplay their opponents off the railings.
Yeah, what an incredible start to our first match. I was keeping a close eye on VKGaming there, Genome, because they're sitting about 22nd on the leaderboard. You know, that huge Arc Star stick from them to clean up. You said that they were going to have a little bit of a tough rotate, but they managed to find themselves and wedge themselves under the bridge. And then I kept a close eye, and they did their best little mountain goat technique up and scaled the wall. And then I think they come out in about third place with a bit of KP. So this might be such a huge start for them because, you know, we want to see our top 20 teams sort of push their way through. And yeah, being 22nd on the leaderboard, that's kind of what Gaming needed. But then, you know, Akuma there holding on for the clutch was exceptional too, Genome.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point to bring up, Lace. I mean, VKGaming are in Group C as well, so that means they've got the two games, the two series to play today. Yeah. So double the chances to improve their points and push up. But yeah, absolutely, these kind of results are what they need to make sure they have a berth in the regional finals.
Yeah, you can sort of see them here. They were wedged in between. They see them over there on the rock there, just waiting patiently for all this chaos happening up above. But, you know, Akuma were just doing work around the outside and absolutely cleaning up. It was quite scary to see that they, you know, almost been taken down by the 2v2, didn't be able to get the res off inside the building, but that didn't matter to them.
What about this part with Yukoi? He's basically playing PvE. It's like they're not shooting back. What's going on?
That's it. Well, you got a triple take in your face. You know, sometimes that happens, but that was exceptional from them.
That movement.
Yeah, as we go have a look at what Akuma just did. 13 kills, and look at the damage.
Kill a pause, adding 9 to his total. I don't know if you saw this, Lace, but actually, we got the full spreadsheet of all ALGS kills ever released this week. So shout out to Chrono Creative for putting that out. And if you look at APAC South, Killapause is the overall kill leader for APAC South. And this is, of course, not including, you know, Zero and other people who've gone over to NA now. But yeah, he's sitting at 891. So with that game, he's actually ticked over to 900.
That's it. Got some, you know, big shoes to fill. But yeah, Killapause just doing exceptional work. You know, we've seen it before and we're seeing it again. I'd also like to take a touch on there. Lightning Unicorn coming in at second, which is quite good. But yeah, a huge 11 kill game from VKGaming whilst placing third too. So that's incredible to see. And as we see the leaderboard overall, we have Akuma sitting there in first, 13 kills, and then VKGaming, like I said, 11 kill points with a third place, bringing them to second.
Yeah, so a lot of heavy hitters up the top there. I guess the thing that's, you know, just a little trend. Will it become a trend, I guess, is the question here, is that teams with a lot of placement points also picking up big kill points, right? And I'm wondering if with this new meta, we get a bit more of a snowball feel to the game, Lace. Whereas before, you might have seen teams who were playing Edge, you know, crafting up to Evo red armors. They'd get a bunch of kills, but then not be able to make it into zone and crash out early. Will this new system mean that the teams who do end up placing later also grab most of the kills, and you see sort of a concentration in points? I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for that.
That's such an interesting take. I yeah, definitely want to see that sort of in action. But you know what? Like we have a fair few teams there up in the top of the leaderboard that really need this. Another one I want to touch on is Lightning Unicorn. I think they're sitting about 16th. You know, they are above the cusp there, but, you know, they might need to hold on because there's other teams that are just very close behind them that we may see in the later date. But we're going to take ourselves a little short break. So you guys sit, chill, relax, and we will see you in a moment. And welcome back, everyone. What an incredible start to week 5. This is Groups A versus C. You know, we've had our teams have to endure major changes to Apex Legends as we hit Season 20. This is the final week of our group stages where it's kind of make or break for our teams, Gino.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple down the bottom there that, we won't be seeing next week. We'll have to say goodbye to them after this. I think if you're in Group C, you've got 2 chances left to make a dent on that scoreboard and start pushing your points a little higher. But yeah, if you're in Group A or B, only 1 series left to make sure you crack that top 20.
Exactly right. You know, we saw a huge game just from Akuma then. They're currently sitting 9th overall on the leaderboard. So, you know, I feel like they have themselves a nice little spot there. And, of course, I want to touch on KeepGoing again, who are about 22nd on the leaderboard. And they still have their next chance in the next group. So that's been really good. But, you know, as we see the scans come out and, the beast of the hunt, let's take a look at our Bloodhound Evo picks, because this is just going to be some interesting stuff, Gino.
Yeah, so new season, new stats to go off. So Bloodhound, one of the legends I would say where the perks aren't set in stone, right? You're not going to see that 100% pick rate for certain perks because they're honestly, there's a bit of, a bit of push and pull, a bit of, some different options to go with here. So as you can see, most Bloodhound players who made it to level 2 went for the tactical cooldown there. That makes sense. You are essentially, it's good for the team. It's more of a team play. And then Raven's Blessing, if you're perhaps more of an edge style team, maybe the zone's really far away from you in this particular game, I think that's why you'd go for Raven's Blessing, because you want to enable your Bloodhound player more and give them a bit more fragging potential by having that ult up more often. Then as we move to level 3, again, you're seeing it's pretty much the same sort of story there, right? Odin's Glare gives you more information for the team for longer, whereas Taste of Blood, again, is enabling that Bloodhound. If you think you've got a particularly potent fragger on the Blood, you might want them just rolling through other teams with that perk.
Yeah, that's really interesting, the way you sort of depicted that, generally, you'll see a lot of people sort of choose the same picks as they level up their shields. But you are right. Teams that may be on the outskirts may want to choose that because, they're going to have more time to rotate in. You see all the white birds everywhere to pick them up to get the ults. So teams may, look at other metas but be completely different because that's just not their play style. So, we're going to see lots of things come out through that as well. But hopefully we can have a look at our quick leaderboard at the moment. No, we're even just going to forget that because we are heading into match number 2. Let's forget about it. Let's going to see who climbs to the top. Let's take it away. This is match 2, World's Edge.
Okay. Akuma once again runs straight through MXF. So I think that's 2 from 2 now from Akuma on these contests. Once again, we saw it happen over at Mirage Trois. And then they will be pulling back up to go through, loot the rest of Lava Fissure and grab that survey beacon.
Yeah, look, again, as you said, 2 from 2 for them and more than happy with things there. So, again, it's going to be one of those conversations, I guess, that we get to have all day long, but always a bit of a strange one when you're on the receiving end of those kinds of hot drops and you're just losing multiple times. Just starting to wonder, should you be doing that? Maybe just go somewhere else?
Well, I think
one thing I've noticed is teams are pretty stubborn.
I'm trying to think if MXF, I think they were contesting elsewhere in previous weeks. I think they might have been, or maybe that's in other groups where they were contesting Lava Siphon. Anyway, sometimes if one contest doesn't go right, then you got to start thinking about, okay, well, let's go contest someone else, right? Like, I don't know, change something up. Because if there's no free POIs, you just got to give it a go.
Yep, I guess that's true. Unfortunately, not working out too well for them. I'm going to see a bit of a different pull this time around. Going to go hard down to the south toward Lava Siphon. Seen a lot of the countdown Lava Fissure type of circles in the last couple of weeks, but changing things up. And yeah, we're looking pretty good in the spa there. This is the casting room, by the way. For those
hold up. Why don't we get to cast from a spiral fish?
It's the studio.
What is that about?
I don't know. I mean, you gotta get onto EA and see if they've got the budget for it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you can make it happen.
Well, you got a lot of faith in me then.
You gotta just picture it as the next innovation in
True.
Apex Legends broadcasting. I mean, what's not to love?
You know, it helps improve blood circulation.
I'll even bring my swimsuit Loba cosplay.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if that's a selling point or not.
Yeah. Maybe Twitch chat can tell us about that one. One, if you want to see, you know, Elfish in the spa. Maybe two if you don't.
Oh, there's going to be plenty of ones in the chat. Either way, we'll take a look at the compositions. Seeing again, what was 35% actually coming through for the Bang Corsic Bloodhound comp. So not even the 50% that we sort of were initially talking about at the start of the last game. A couple of these obviously are duos, so that's going to change things up a little bit there as well. But still seems to be quite a spread here in APAC South, which is always going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, definitely a bit of Wonton coming out there, and I think that's just seeing Akuma pick up a disruptor for the alternator. Nice. Yeah, I think part of that is because of how strong Wonton upgrades are, right, in the perk system. I mean, Falling Stars individually, possibly one of the best perks you can get in the entire game. If you guys haven't seen that one, haven't had a chance to play with her yet, when the gen gets set up, the Interceptor Pylon gets set up, enemy ordnance coming into that, can be a knuckle cluster, can be a grenade, will spawn arc stars that you can use for your team.
Yeah. I love
Incredibly
Arc Stars. Absolutely. Big fan. Not such a big fan of Wonton, though. I don't know if it's enough for me to get convinced to play Wonton. But
I've actually been playing a bit of Rampart myself this season.
that's an interesting choice.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, like, Sheila starts purring when you get the upgrades for that, and all the level 3 upgrade that allows you to your entire team to reload faster when you're behind the amped cover. Honestly, pretty incredible.
You know, I mean, like I said, I've always been a fan of Valkyrie, and I think prior to that as well, I was a fan of Ashe. I've always been a fan of those, like, mobility legends. I was kind of hoping that Ashe was going to come back in, but I haven't really seen much of that, so...
No. Which is teams were definitely thinking about it. You saw a bit of experimentation early on, because the arc snare changes are pretty good.
Yeah.
I just feel like she probably needed a bit more for her ultimate, because that's sort of enabling your team, and enabling your team is what you need in competitive pro level play.
Yep. I did like that meta where Ashe was one of the sort of go-to picks. The mobility that ultimate allowed was it always resulted in some pretty fun fights. You know, you just see a full team like appear on a roof next to somebody. Always a bit of fun, but maybe in another day we'll get to see that. I'm sure at some point Ashe will come back into meta. It's been a little bit of a slower game so far, hasn't it? Still got 19 teams alive.
Little note there as well. Of course, we have the return of Tom Young Kung. Say goodbye to IBG and back to our favorite hot pot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends who you ask. My girlfriend, she says Chinese hot pot is the only way to go. Every other hot pot is fake. So I'll just leave that
I tried it out for the first time after Champ Birmingham. I literally had Tom Young Kung, and it was delicious. So I get it.
Well, VK Gaming are going to set themselves up pretty comfortably. Love to have this kind of like downtime when you've got the Corsic on your side. Set up all of those traps. Lightning Unicorn on the move a little bit. And they might be getting into a bit of a stoush here as well. MDY looking to push up on top of the bridge. We've got lots of ultis getting popped everywhere. Rockets, EMPs, everything going down. MDY, though, have lost a member. Of Gaps picking that one up, though, being traded back straight away. We're going to need to see the rest of Lightning Unicorn trying to find a way to get into this fight. And, well, they're not doing a very good job of it, unfortunately. Jack Cute's gone down now as well. So, just comes down to Lalabang trying desperately to survive, going up and down, using that terrain to the advantage. The Corsic trap will cause problems. And Lightning Unicorn eliminated.
Yeah, wow, the armor swap there from Joey was crucial. Both of the MDY Black players were very low. Lalabang, full health. And yeah, came up to zip. You know, really needed to just grab it down quickly. But unfortunately, yeah, the finish in the armor swap came through too fast. And that means MDY Black have been able to get off the respawn as well. So Organstern back in action.
Yeah, MDY-WHITE not too far away. It doesn't look like they're going to be pushing anything. And T4. Well, they're not doing too bad for themselves overall in the lobby, sitting there at 9th. But I'm not sure that's really going to be enough to get us too excited about their prospects going into next week. You'd really need to see them probably go top 3, top 5, something like that in both of these lobbies to be able to make it back into the top 20 of the overall standings. They started well in the last round as well, but just kind of got run over. So, hope to see a little bit more from them here.
Okay, apparently, you know, zone Evo charging is not completely dead, as we see Serenity all the way down the bottom here in stacks, just grabbing some Evo harvesters to push them closer to the Reds. Currently, they're 1,300 off. And they're just behind White Flash, who are about 1,000 off Purples themselves. So if they do run into the back of them, we're going to have... we'll have the drop.
That's fine. Let's go.
Guess one of the questions is, do they have a vault key as they're rotating through now? Vault is still locked. No, it doesn't look like it, so no chance to grab that Evo cache if it indeed did spawn. As we said, one of the only two ways you can get one of those insta upgrades. Oh, nice shots from the 30-30 coming out there.
Yeah, couldn't really follow it up there though, Jesco. They're going to have to try to make this cross, Serenity. Looks like it'll be initially a 2-1 split with Legacy and Boogie opting to push initially, but deciding better of it. They would have been kind of running into a crossfire. You can see Legend on the other side of this. They had a sight line as well. So Serenity's going to go straight back into the cave, which is going to offer them some semblance of safety for the meanwhile, but they have to move eventually and almost delaying the inevitable, it feels like right now.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the ring info, right? They managed to scan the beacon while they were out in zone. There is one at stacks. So they know it's shifting over to the left. They just know that there's, as you can see, not really a lot of space there for them to get in. So looking for some KP over here towards White Flash might be the play.
Target spotted there.
Tom Yum Kung, MDY-WHITE, maybe the two teams to beat at the moment, based on that mini-map right there. Interested to see how Team Burger can go in this game. Didn't really feel like they got the greatest of opportunities in the last one. Zone's going to shift hard up to the north as well, though. So MDY Black, I think that they're going to be the big benefactors of that. And we will get to see the rotation coming through from Boogie, Legacy, and Jesco that we were hoping to see earlier. This time, though, it's an aerial rotation rather than on foot. This will be a risky landing position.
Oh, good spot though. There's no one in this caravan, by the way. Like you can see, obviously it's set up with the fences and everything. But they have somehow identified that correctly. That it is a playable spot in the next zone. The zone will be shifting up. It looks like where we had that fight earlier on top of the train tracks, it might be a zone that pulls towards that direction.
Legends Gaming eating an EMP. No one pushing off the back of it just yet, so they'll be given the opportunity to reset. Patience of virtue here for Strafing Flame, though. Eventually will get peaked. No connections coming from it. It's more of a skirmish, really, than anything else. No overcommitment. Legends are doing a pretty good job of, I guess at this point, really just showing off their muscles, you know, doing some flexing in the mirror. Everyone's having a bit of a look and saying, oh, not sure if we want to push that. Those guys look kind of strong. On the other side of the coin, though, MDY Black more than happy with what they're seeing inside of that caravan. Morgenstern already finding the initial knock, and Full Engage are fully out of this round.
Wow.
The first teams to get eliminated.
Aggressive push, yeah. Like Morgenstern's still up the top of the tracks. They don't want to give that position up, right? But they have a, you know, they've pulled down there. It means they get so many resources in the meantime. So that's a pretty big play for MDY Black over here. And now they can just get back up top and start surveying the land around them.
Here goes Killerpaws leading the charge. He's the tip of the spear right next to Yukoi and Crusader. Duo on the other side there, or was there a third player at the other end of the building? Can't quite tell, but Either way, Akuma not going to push in just yet. More than happy to take up some residence on the northern side of this zone and keep themselves relatively healthy.
I suspect we will find something here. Subject spotted here.
All right, why don't we have a listen in with Akuma here and see what their play is for this next phase of the game.
Getting pushed by the team from right or not, left or not. What about like under the house?
You get nade stacked really easily.
Yeah.
And then you get pushed out really quickly.
I need to check here first. It's like pretty safe here. Fucking step on me.
Yeah, it's
Next
very
ring,
good.
just play.
Like not early though, right?
No,
Yeah,
no,
no,
definitely
You
not.
just gotta care these guys don't fucking swing, bro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots. You gotta be careful.
One of you
top
can
roofs.
play here. One of
Yeah.
you can play here.
I'm playing back there.
Look, how you, look, you play here on me, on my side. I'm gonna play that side.
Yeah.
Someone flying
Flying.
walk
They're
them
gonna fly in there.
on the
Wait,
bridge, on the
what?
bridge, on the bridge.
Splash.
Under the
One
bridge,
splash.
they're not one. They're not
Yeah.
one.
Left side
Under the
tunnel. Left side tunnel has moved out more height. They're playing further out.
Target spotted
Yeah.
there.
Under the bridge, shooting each other.
Maybe team gonna evac on the roof later. They're gonna get died at literally
One team
everyone.
under here. One team under here. Two team over there.
You got scanned from tunnel.
The
You have
house.
angles on you.
Almost.
Little.
6 bang.
Right side, you shooting right side. They're all dead, I
Yeah,
think.
bottom right. Yeah, they died for it.
I hear
No,
evac
actually,
from
no, they didn't.
Siphon.
They didn't. They didn't die.
I hear
Yeah.
evac from Siphon. I'm
I
not using
almost have the
scan.
free shots, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, on my side, cracked. Bang one.
No.
You have really good shots, you have really good
cannot
shots.
hit, cannot hit.
I can't see.
Careful left shooting you. I'm smoke left for you, okay?
Yep, thank you.
It's blocked
I
up,
can
vision.
almost knock. I can almost knock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just only thing is you're left.
Yeah.
I'm playing close to you now.
Keep recycling. Keep doing those smoke killer.
Yeah.
Is that we're playing on your ping
Oh, hi,
next
shooting us.
right?
Yeah.
Like the yellow. Yeah.
Yep. Let me put more chops down.
I'm smoking top left now.
Yeah.
Underneath left, I think.
I can scan them.
Yeah, scan. Yeah, they're not playing here. Oh, they knocked one.
Hey, knock. Wait. I'm not wasting nade.
I'm nading.
Okay, I'm watching. He blood altered
They
as
might
well.
get pushed. They got pushed. Oh, bad net.
You gotta be careful. We don't get.
Yeah,
like,
look at them. Look at them if you can.
Next stream we can try to AF them to like third them. Can we try to break the
Agree.
fence?
Hey, down here. Red ping.
Look.
We need another scan. Oh, one team dead.
I've scanned.
Can you scan?
Akuma in a fantastic position here. The ring pulls very close to them. They only really have to worry about final start in the building next to them.
Oh, you can see the big red banner at the top of the screen popping up pretty consistently. Now we're down to 10 squads. Team Burger looking much better this time around. We talked about them getting stuck on the triple blues in the last game. Now they got triple reds. Sharky, Pricey, Way, all looking hot to trot, really. Legends Gaming maybe suffering in a bit of a different kind of a capacity. Easy flash with a big on spray. Has to pull out that hemlock in the end to finish off Heck. And, well, Legends Gaming are really in the thick of things at the moment. Fight's
I mean,
not
they're
done
just
yet.
redlining it today, right? Every single fight, like they're winning a lot of fights, but every time we're just having to see so many resets by them, and they keep getting them off. I mean, last game I think they ended up in about 5th spot, but it took about 4 resets to get there. So, look, honestly, props to them for being able to win these fights and then continuously get back up and just keep going.
Live by the sword, die by the sword. Dexa, of course, on the core stick is more than happy to be fighting in this kind of a situation. There's smokes and gas all over the place, but he does not care about that at all. Just holding that W key and trying to get into the thick of things, but Tom Yum Kung eventually going to be pushed back. Maybe they're more than happy with the pushing back that they've done, because they've now sort of taken up residence in this position underneath the pylons. Legends Gaming are still fighting.
Yeah, nice little bit of loot they get from that fight as well means, yeah, you can see care package weapons on the way here. Serenity, they're just hiding underneath where Legends Gaming are right now, but Tom Yum Kung is right on the other side of them.
Yeah, those barrels aren't lasting long either. They're just getting dropped off. But either way, Tom Yum Kung being pushed by the zone, also running into an unfortunate sticky situation, and will get taken out and eliminated. Zone's just not quite going to push far enough to dislodge the guy sitting under the bottom there, but Legends Gaming up on top are having a ball of a time. I mean, this is the perfect spot to have a bow check in, really, isn't it? Long range, high ground advantage. Nade's getting tossed down the bottom there as well. And Easy Flash looks like he wants to try to get aggressive. Getting those supporting shields tossed on through as well from Strafing Flame will make life pretty easy in the end. Serenity do get eliminated, and Legends Gaming are just farming in this round.
Good spot for them. Akuma also with a good spot. They've moved up on the Siphon side and have taken the high ground over there. Final Start still in that building, as well as MDY-WHITE still up on top of the train tracks. So 5 squads left alive now. Oh, another down onto Strafing Flame. We've seen that happen so many times today.
A little bit of back and forth as we've only got 5 teams left alive now, so zone relatively large for the amount of teams that are still up. Action slows down for a little bit until we go back to Legends Gaming, who just don't seem to be taking their foot off the gas at all. It's Akuma that unfortunately got into their sights this time around. And Legends are doing a great job of controlling the high ground, aren't they?
They are. They're doing so well. I mean, that was a very swift push to take out Akuma, who are in a strong position. Also having a look at Wonton Dumpling down the bottom. A horrible game 1 for them. They're looking to turn their fortunes around here in game 2. Nice little nade there on Tree Clean.
Yeah, a little bit of spam coming through as well. Big God, he's low, but doesn't have to worry about that at the moment. Just has to try to control the space. Done a pretty good job of that for now, but still another team below. It doesn't feel very good for Wonton Dumpling here. They're kind of the meat in the sandwich, and they're fighting hard to try to survive at this point, really. There is that moment of respite, though, that's going to allow the bat to come through, and instantly another crack. Legends Gaming are just not letting them up at all. The wingman shots, they're all connecting. Easy Flash is absolutely frying at the moment, and Legends are just... They've gone from like 15 points to 35 in one game. That was just utter decimation from Legends.
Wow. Incredible work from Legends to pull back in. That was just a monstrous game by them.
Yeah, indeed. Not really much more to say. I felt like we were kind of just watching the Legends highlight reel at this point. It just didn't stop at all, did it? So, I guess... yeah, I mean, really, I don't know what you thought about that one, Lace, but that really did feel like pretty much that entire end zone. It was like anyone else that you swap the camera to, they're kind of just getting owned, and then you swap back to Legends, and it's like, oh, these guys are farming. Just didn't stop.
It's exactly why he's always the top fragger, the top damage dealer, just doing some 360 wingman kills right at the end. I think he had about 9 kills with 5 squads left, so I'm not too sure how much they picked up altogether, but it just seemed like they were swimming through the competition right there. Also, I think it was MDY-WHITE that placed second Elfish. They're about 21st on our overall leaderboard, so that might have been a nice little game for them as well to sort of push them over that those top 20 teams that they need to go into the regional finals.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, something to certainly keep an eye on over the course of today. There's still a lot of work to be done, though, has to be said. And it's not even just about making it into that top 20. It's also about getting as high up in that top 20 as you possibly can. Get get the money, obviously, but also if you can, make it into the top. I think it was top 8 overall for the season, including the matches next week, then you do get that opportunity to go play overseas, which I think is pretty much what everyone's playing for at this point. Money's nice, but the fame and glory, I guess, is another thing.
That's it. You want to make it to land, but $125,000, spread across our teams is exceptional. I think it's $20,000 for the first team, and Legends Gaming here, they're sitting at the hippity top of the leaderboard. No one seems to be really even closer to them. Wonton Dumpling is just far behind, but their first game they didn't really pull out too much there, but they're creeping on up. But let's have a look at that. 22 kills, Elfish, from Legends Gaming. Easy Flash, it's delivering 11 for the team.
I mean, it's exactly what I was saying. It was like every single time we would swap away from Legends, it was like nothing was happening or someone was getting wrecked. And then we would go back to Legends and it was like these guys are getting like 3 kills in 5 seconds, and then they're on to the next team, they're on to the next fight. 3,000, almost 3,000 damage from Easy Flash, like you said, putting in a huge chunk of that damage. Was really set up nicely as well. You could kind of see that supportive style coming through from Strafing Flame. Easy Flash is dropping down, taking fights, getting the heals coming through from Strafing Flame. So the composition really working quite nicely there for Legends as well. Right, they're running something that, you know, I guess you could argue is maybe not the standard meta at the moment, or at least not the prevailing trend when it comes to that Caustic Bangalore and Bloodhound composition. They've gone for something a little bit different, and evidently they've got a way to make it work. They've figured out how to sort of utilize that composition to its best effect, and yeah, that's a huge game from them, straight up to 40 points and back to the top of the lobby where, quite frankly, it feels like they kind of belong.
Exactly right, and this is the last time we'll see Legends Gaming as well, because, you know, they're a part of our Group A, so the 6 games they played today is it for them, but, you know, they've, like we said, they've solidified themselves quite nicely in first place. Lightning Unicorn as well, I believe this is the last time we see them, so I believe they're sitting, they're in our top 20 teams, but they might need to do something sort of to just really push themselves above, because we've got a couple of teams such as MDY-WHITE, who really want to get in those top 20s, but have, you know, the next standings, the next groups, they'll be participating from Group C. So there's a lot on the line for some of our teams, you know, being the last 6 matches.
Yeah, exactly. Lots to play for. Obviously, still, you know, conversations to be had for those teams sort of in the middle of the pack or the bubble or the bottom of the pack. I don't know. It depends on what you sort of want to say. I think for me, they're kind of like toward the bottom of the pack if you're just sort of trying to push your way into that top 20. But those are the big ones, and yeah, MDY-WHITE having a decent one there is nice to see for them, but more to do, obviously, with still 4 games to play, at least for this lobby.
Exactly right, and as we just finished up game number 2, we'll take ourselves a little short break, and we will see you for the final game on World's Edge.
Look, I mean, this is what this has been the most competitive year of Apex. Who is only going to get? Who is going to be the team to challenge the titans of TSM?
From legacy to a dynasty, it is now complete for TSM. TSM up in the skies, house goes down from the heavens! London belongs to TSM! But Dark Zero are losing! They're taking damage, but no! Here comes Zero! Zero! The captain! The ideas of Dark Zero are your champions! I think we're starting to see a bit of a rivalry develop in Apex Legends. As these trophies just keep going back and forth. Dark Zero, TSM, it's always one of those 2 teams. Unbelievable final we've had here today.
4-5-4 and eliminating TSM as the first team to go in the lobby for.
Gaming might be about to break records. Dropped. Tries to move in and clean up the pieces. Optic will fall.
TSM are your Game 6 champions.
And TSM. This is going to be SAF versus TSM in the final fight. A chance for Legacy to become a dynasty with a hostile takeover. TSM are your champions.
Do you fear me, pilot? I don't fear anything. Can you say the same?
are. I gotta admit, I may have tricked you. Whew. Glad I got that off my chest.
Tell Death I said hello.
I will, Blanca.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the APAC-South region where groups A and C are competing for spots in the regional finals. Elfish, what an exceptional game we just saw from Legends Gaming. You know, they're having a 22 kill point lead, plus placing first with absolute style. And of course, who did that for us but Easy Flash?
Yeah, 22 kill win. I don't know, man. Is that like one of the biggest we've seen this split? It certainly would be up there. It's a lot. Either way, yeah, no surprises to see Easy Flash up the top of the damage charts. Player K in there as well from Legends. And Akuma have been quietly having a pretty good game too. So AKM kind of jumping in as well. Top 3. I mean, we're only 2 games in and Easy Flash is already at 4,158. So that number is going to grow pretty substantially over the course of this lobby. And I don't recall exactly what the highest number was. I think it was around 12,000 for Jen Burton, like way back in the day. But at the moment, actually, he's kind of on track to beat that or at least go equal to it. So we'll keep an eye on things.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, we always see Easy Flash pull out some insane damage, and then to have, you know, Player K as well do it on the exact same team, you know that they're absolutely obliterating it. But, you know, we're going to get ourselves back into the action. We are in match 3, the final match here for World's Edge. Let's take it away.
Yeah, indeed, it's going to be MXF and Akuma once again at Mirage Etoile. They're going to try to go head-to-head. It is, I will remind you, 2-0 so far for Akuma, though with a B2020 Crusader might not be super excited about taking a fight. Not exactly the gun you'd want off drop. So a little bit of a slower start to this contest.
Yeah, the other ones have been over pretty fast.
By now, they would have been over.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like P2020 Longbow, we've got a Justa Mozambique for Artoria here on MXF. This one's looking tough.
Yeah, MXF already starting well. They got that 1-for-1, but Artoria's down as well now is unfortunately going to leave it down to just a 1-on-2 for MXF. There's a res happening on the roof. Doesn't really look like that is going to be
Oh, they got it off!
By Akuma, at least not initially. The B2020's out. They're trying their best. There's not really too much really to write home about. Unfortunate! MXF surviving for the moment, but Yukoi has the health advantage. He doesn't want to take the fight.
Trying to shoot through the knockdown, but he can't get there. Akuma takes it in a clean 3-0 sweep, but damn, dude, hit a one. It was a 44 no scope and then a 106 headshot to almost bring that back for MXF. So valiant effort.
Yeah, valiant effort, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be 3 from 3 for Akuma. So where's your value out of that? They would be on, I assume, 0 points for this lobby so far, which is not a nice place to be after 3 games. Either way, Akuma more than happy with that, as they can now kind of focus in on their looting. Get the ball rolling for game number 3. And look, Akuma, for their own right, I have to say, the fact that they've been contested hasn't really slowed them down at all. At least for the last couple of rounds, because they've been kind of almost matching Legends.
Yeah, and I mean, like, obviously they got gifted the zone in game 1, right? Getting a Lava Fissure zone, but you know what I'm surprised about actually is if you look at this, Lightning Unicorn looting countdown. Why not send one guy over to like loot the top of Lava Fissure while all this nonsense is going on? Still half the loot.
It's true. I mean, if you've got someone that's kind of like watching the broadcasts or is like paying attention to where teams are dropping, you know, like you could actually sort of make that call. I guess it's a bit of a difficult one to call just on face value, because you can always say, well, what if they just decide to drop Lava Fissure and then we've got one guy that's like kind of entered into Lava Fissure on his own. But
because you can make that decision like mid drop
on the drop,
right? Like yeah, you can just watch the dive trails and sort of like it's close enough together that you can veer away if you need to.
Yeah, fair enough, but not something that we've seen. Maybe something for later on down the track, but I suppose there's not too many opportunities to see this exact same lobby again over the course of this split. So might not come to fruition. Either way, VK Gaming going to duck inside some relative safety up here by Survey Camp. It's Godhand on the other side of that engagement that are just sort of firing a couple of chip shots in their direction.
Well,
nothing really too major happening up there.
I mean, they managed to take out 951, right? And Casa has just retrieved with the crypto drone, grabbing the banner. Unfortunately, the nearest respawn beacon is like right where Godhand are. So I don't know if they maybe want to go back and get the respawn beacon further down at the train tracks, maybe even towards Epicenter. Those ones are kind of free at the moment. But at the same time, they've got an awesome spot in the zone. So it's like you also don't want to give that up as a duo. It's going to be tough here for VKG. They popped a respawn. Where is that? Or was it? Or did they have a Moby? Yeah, it looks like they had a Moby.
Well, Legends are kind of ready and waiting for that. Though no real engagement happening just yet. Legends have actually decided to move to one of the other buildings here in the survey camp.
Super safe decision, like that.
I don't know if you saw on the graphic up the top, there was 95% pick rate for the Bangalore. The only team that hasn't picked a Bangalore for this lobby is Full Engage, which is the duo. So,
right. So yeah,
I wonder if they were a trio, would it be a 100%?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think, honestly, I know I've had this chat with Hugo from Apex Status about, you know, using the sort of stats, and like I think you basically just throw out the duo stats, right? Because obviously you have to make weird decisions there with two people to try and just play for zone and that kind of thing. So yeah, I would essentially call that a 100% pick rate for Bangalore. So very interesting that we're back up to 100%. You know, when you think about those other metas that, you know, we saw Gibraltar or Wraith or Valkyrie at 100%, now it's Bangalore.
Yeah, well, everyone gets their time in the sun, it seems. So a shield crack. The Hex going down to Legacy there with the 30-30 repeater, so could actually be a bit of a problem. Not sure if that's going to be resable. Certainly not finishable, at least for Serenity here, but there's a couple of teams that are sort of floating around. Serenity have to deal with Rudine, who was actually on their roof for a moment there and has been found out. Yugi getting that one. Serenity are kind of on the hunt right here. You can see Hex just trying to book it. Belkin's gone north, Hex gone south. Serenity well and truly carving out their little spot of territory on the map by dislodging their opponents. Bearclaw Gaming.
Obviously teams up in the tunnels here with the zone pulling very northerly. KeepGoing Gaming, Final Start. Two teams we're looking at right now, and then further over towards the respawn beacons just outside of the northern tunnels. You've got Lightning Unicorn as well. Okay, Hot Dog, they're going in for it.
Final Start. Taking it slow at the moment, it has to be said. These are the hunt ticking away. Oh, but there's a good amount of damage straight up from the Havoc, and they want to push off the back of that. They recognize the advantage they've got. There's the first knock. Second should come through pretty quickly here, though I wasn't expecting it to go back in that direction. Selka is able to trade, and it's still going to be the 2-on-1 to deal with for Final Start.
But they're all running now because Lightning Unicorn is coming in. They, as we said, they were at the respawn beacon outside of this. They heard all the Calamity, and they pulled up to try and grab a couple of the kills for themselves. Final Start. They turn around. They actually do get Gopgaps down, but I don't think they're going to last for much longer. Selka, one bullet.
Yeah, I'm not sure this one's going to go too well for Selka. There's just nowhere really to go, unfortunately, and Lightning Unicorn with a perfectly timed third party. They themselves are not going to get third partied. And they actually have a huge amount of territory to play with on the northern side of the map here. Pretty much the entire train tunnels in their control. But obviously later on in the game they're going to have to move out, but for now, very happy.
Yeah, they don't want to stay in there for too long, Elfish, because where the zone's shifting, it's going to the right of the respawn beacon. But the other side of the train tracks are in, and that is one of the best plots to play from every single time this circle is in. So Lightning Unicorn, you know, they don't have that info right now, and there's not a survey, a ring console anywhere around that they could probably get to. So yeah, there's a couple survey beacons back in Skyhook, but for them, they really want to move when they see this next circle get revealed, it's very important to take that spot. Because Bearclaw Gaming are out there as a duo up the top. But if LU just move a little bit across to the right there, might actually have to back them for this game.
They're going to hedge their bets at least for now, right? They're going to take it slow and see what happens. Once that information comes through, then yeah, they're definitely going to jump in on that opportunity. But, you know, things can still go wrong against a duo. It's been a bit of a faster paced game in comparison to our last. We've lost 4 teams already. A lot of shenanigans happening around in the survey camp, but some teams still coming up from Fragment over toward Landslide. You've got T4 there as well on the move in. But for the most part, deciding to get that congregation toward the northern side of the map. MDY-WHITE here, fighting for their control of the tunnel against Overlooked Entertainment, who have already lost 1 player, and it's a decent start for MDY-WHITE as they are able to get themselves another one. Vasey is on, or off, to the races, I suppose, at this point. On the trot is probably where I should have gone with that one, but yeah, out of the way, that's for sure. And not a particularly enthralling fight, really, for Overlooked Entertainment. They kind of just capitulated.
He's popping about on the way down there. Does actually get out. I think the question is, does he get spotted out by Team Burger, who are currently sitting in Skyhook, prowling for easy kills like that one to come
Pricey
their
definitely
way.
saw him. Pricey definitely saw him, but Vasey's on the way out anyway, so not going to see much of a chase from Team Burger there.
Yeah, Burger, they actually have that ring info, so if they start pushing up towards those northern tunnels, they could play for one of those great spots up north.
Hmm. A couple of teams sitting in the epicenter at the moment. Got X and Y at the top, Wonton Dumpling down the bottom. Bit of a weird day so far for Wonton Dumpling. We had high expectations for them, but haven't really had a whole lot of praises to sing for them in those initial couple of games. And if I'm being honest, this kind of looks like it's going to be another difficult game for them. Having to come out from epicenter. There's going to be a lot of teams to fight on their way into survey camp.
Oh no. BC is on the run again, and this time he doesn't make it out. Way picks up an easy kill left Team Burger, and now they've got a minute to see if they can push further on. Of course, they've got the Bloodhound there on way, so they can just start popping these scans, clearing out positions in front of them. Potentially looking for that fight with Lightning Unicorn. Back in survey camp, however, we've got still quite, well, there's 4 teams, essentially 1 in each major building.
Ooh. Tom Yum Kung is one of those, or at least they're trying to fight their way in. They're actually going to have to settle for playing underneath for the moment, at least until they reset. Darkstar's getting tossed on in as well, and that's a good crack. Asia's also found the knock onto Bugi, so that'll be the go signal, I'd say, for Tom Yum Kung.
Oh no.
Jesco's dropped as well. The issue is going to be when you're fighting in a spot like this, there's always going to be third parties coming through, and X and Y will take that opportunity and try to run with it. And X and Y also have to be a little bit aware that Wonton Dumpling is going to be coming up behind them, so this is going to get messy very quickly indeed. Tom Yum Kung are still holding on.
Asia!
I've lost a couple of players.
Asia is just popping off with the hammer points Mozam through the smoke right now. Critical damage being dished out by the Bangalore player.
I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep them alive, though. I mean, you've got Wonton Dumpling here that also want to sort of try their hand at this engagement, so
they're done.
Out of the frying pan, into the fire. Tom Yum Kung, kind of like Genome's last night, hot pot, but unfortunately not going to be lasting too long when they're on offer. And Wonton Dumpling will try to continue that momentum, rolling their way forward as well onto X and Y, who were causing them problems in epicenter. Maybe they have to take a step back here to try and find time for that res. Players 3 for the rest of this game. Doesn't look like they're going to be given that opportunity, though. The fight continues, and eventually X and Y are out of the picture.
God, what a disgusting
I think Wonton
fight.
Dumpling might just have enough time for a reset here.
That was kind of gross, honestly. None of those teams had proper time to reset there. You know, they were really just hoping to maybe hide behind a smoke and get something off, but not a lot of revives going their way. As we said, still quite a few teams over in survey camp. And the ring is actually pulled back. So, you know, I was sort of operating under the assumption it was going to keep pulling north, because we do see that quite a lot. But this one is actually pulled way far back in towards White Flash in the building. So that's an absolute lottery win there. for that team.
That's a very big, that's a weird pull, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So them and Godhand just in fantastic positions now. Team Berg, as you can see, somehow did the do-si-do and got around Lightning Unicorn to get onto the east side. So they'll be okay sitting up the top there. I don't know how they got around them though. Then maybe they took the balloon from inside the northern tunnels.
Yeah, possible. This is actually not a bad spot for Burger to be in. I don't know if they're going to get pushed by Lightning Unicorn. It'd be a lot of ground to cover for Lightning Unicorn. We'll see what ends up happening, but... Well, now, Burger feel like they're in the best position, considering that they have the quietest side of the zone. Legends, though, as they usually are going to be a team that's going to be in the middle of the fights. Hasn't been such a big game from them just yet, but that is about to change. There's a lot of teams floating around.
Enemy there.
I mean, the benefit for Legends is that they don't have to necessarily worry too much about those caustics here, with a little bit more room to play.
Yeah, also a decent spot for the Gen. Obviously, the Gen can eat up barrels. It can eat up caustic ults that are thrown in, or Bangalore ults like that. So there's one coming down around them, and yeah, it's zapping them up. Actually, I'm just gonna check. Yeah, we've got falling stars. So there we go. Player K generating arc stars for the team right now.
I wonder how many of those are getting tossed out at the moment. T4 also getting taken down in the meanwhile, and Legends are on the move. They want to take the fight forward. Alternator, Golden Mag, or Easy Flash. It's not a bad spot to be in.
Yeah, they actually lost the second Gen though, and a caustic ultimate comes in, so they, in the end, they can't find a safe spot for the Gen, because we saw Player K popping an ultimate accelerant to get the second one up immediately. Now that's gone down, and now they're in struggle street.
I mean, they're doing okay for themselves. The nades and all that sort of chip damage is causing a little bit of a problem, but it's not as if they're in immediate threat of going down right now. They've sort of carved out their moment of respite. Lots of boxes to loot. Oh, but there's a team underneath, and this will be where things start to go a little bit wrong. Legends Gaming having to fight for their lives. Somehow Player K is still alive. Eventually going to tick away, I think, to some caustic gas there in the end. It's VK Gaming that are trying to take this fight. I think they themselves are kind of on the back foot.
I think they knew that without that help from the Wonton, they had to go inside, but they couldn't because White Flash are in there with a catalyst. Too much goo, too much, you know, the doors reinforced as well was just slowing them down. And as you saw there, it was too long that they took to try and make that happen. And therefore, MDY-WHITE are going to eventually take that spot away from them.
Yeah, it was VK Gaming that took it initially, but now it's in control of MDY-WHITE, who is the team that we're kind of keeping an eye on at the moment. Nice fight to win for them as well. They get the purple Evo for the last member. You do typically want to be at about purple, at least at purple, rather than sitting on the blues in the final sort of skirmish of the game. So they've at least accomplished that. And as you can see, they've got plenty of loot that they can hoover up there. Yeah, a bit of time as well to play with.
Even some armor swaps actually coming out. I'm surprised that armor swaps are still in the game after the changes that we got in Season 20. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they got that got changed and removed at some point. But for the moment, MDY-WHITE with all of those loot boxes are starting to set those up.
Well, Wonton Dumpling trying to put some damage down as well. They have lost one member, but still sitting pretty for the moment. This is a great spot to be in for MDY-WHITE. I mean, they just chill. They really do not have to do anything at this point. As long as they keep their heads down, they are almost guaranteed at least a top placing. Unless someone decides to int them, but there'd be no reason for anyone to try to jump into that position. So
I mean, yes, but they are on the outside of the circle. They're going to get pushed out pretty quickly at this point, right, Elfish? Because you know, you've got teams like Lightning Unicorn who are sitting up on the rocks here, and just across from them, Burger are in a similar position, but they managed to lose way. He got fully finished, so it's just Pricey and Sharky sitting up there, a bang and a caustic, trying to pop some ult excels right now and get their ultimates online. They've actually got Wonton Dumpling playing, or at least one of the players playing right underneath. You see that? They're completely split, just Goo Goo or Peak God over there sitting under Team Burger now, and then a couple of those teams just shoved into the building. So honestly, I think Lightning Unicorn might be in one of the better spots right now. They've got quite a bit of cover to play.
Don't mind the look of White Flash with his bow check either. It's connecting a lot of shots.
One more for purple.
Some
there you go.
really good chip damage coming through. Now the vision is obscured.
Pricey.
Of course, doesn't matter when you've got the Beast of the Hunt ready to go. White Flash, losing a lot of HP though, and their cover has kind of disappeared with the zone pushing its way in. This bow check, again, needs to do work, and so far, kinda is. Some shots starting to miss now, and really need to get this damage down. White Flash are really under the pump, pushing their way forward. They do get rid of Wonton Dumpling, which will give them at least a moment to survive. Sharky and Pricey pushing their way into the center of the zone.
Oh, and causing complete chaos. I mean, Pricey was the one who managed to get that early knock onto Lightning Unicorn and somehow get them into second place as a duo. Burger now trying to take on White Flash 2v3 after all they've done so far this game. I wouldn't be surprised to see them take this out.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to have actually seen them keep that pressure up. I'm not sure what the HP is looking like for Burger at that point, but look at how low White Flash are. All of the members were pretty much running only on shields. If they would have tried to keep that pressure up, maybe Burger could have pushed that advantage, but they haven't, and they've given the chance for the reset, which is now going to mean it's a 2-on-3. In reality, though, it's gone back in the other direction. It's down to the 1v1. Oh,
what?
1 HP, but Team Burger eventually get that last sliver through, and it is Team Burger as a duo that will take the game away.
Pricey, you absolute madman. As a duo, there were 5-6 teams left. He gets the opening pick onto the other team in God's spot there, Lace, and then also clutches up to win a 2v3. Wow, I mean, if that doesn't, you know, push them up and put them in contention for that land spot, I don't know what does, Lace.
I know, some sort of switch flipped in their minds. You know, at the start of the split, Genome, we saw that they found it a little bit difficult to climb up, and then something happened, and, you know, it was one of their final weeks where they needed to really do something, and they've just come out today and absolutely smashed it. Something has happened within the team to make them one of the top contending teams at the moment. But yeah, everyone on Team Burger at the moment are pulling their weight, and it was exceptional to see.
That was an incredible finish by the lads. I mean, you know, we even saw that sort of earlier transition that they had to make, going through from Skyhook to the tunnel. And, yeah, just, wow, smart rotations to play the north side there. You know, I kind of kept talking about how strong that position can be. And even with the weird ring pull back to survey, you can see why. Because you can just methodically work your way across the tracks. And then, yeah, even down into those power positions on the mountains on the south side there.
Yeah, and it was just easy cleanup for them as well. You know, you saw like MDY-WHITE, they had such a short rotate from Fragment to Survey Camp. You know, you thought they might have solidified a little position there, but they were quite, I guess, low in retrospect when other teams were sort of pushing in. But yeah, Team Burger just absolutely cleaning up all the mess here. A lot of teams, you know, having half health, half shield, so it was just only a matter of time for them to take out this win.
Yeah, I mean, you love to see Sharky on Bang. You know, he's played a few legends over the years, but you know, when he was playing, I think it was Wonton on Dark Zero was the one that kind of really got to him, and I think he was enjoying comp a lot less at that point. So I think a character like Bang really suits a player of his skill and talent, as Team Burger come out on top there with 7 kills, 5 of those going the way of Pricey. But as you can see, Sharky definitely pitching in with the damage there. Look, MDY-WHITE also 7 kills, and I think I might have just seen Wonton Dumpling with 10 kills in that game as well. So, oof, that's certainly helping push them up into 3rd spot.
Yeah, it looks like our steamrollers are back. You know, the Wonton Dumpling love to collect kills and souls along the way. So it's nice to sort of see them push themselves up into 3rd place. You know, only placing in 5th, but, you know, a couple of kill points plus all their, you know, I guess great rotation from them. But yeah, a big props to MDY-WHITE. They are sitting quite low on the leaderboard overall, so having them sort of be in that little 3rd place was something nice for them. So hopefully they can keep it together in Storm Point, because, you know, they've got a lot on the line.
Yeah, look, I mean, Overlooked Entertainment, they're sitting at 12th at the moment. They are on the bubble, right? They are currently making regional finals in 20th place. Maybe they just want a few more points than 12th to sort of lock them in there. It's going to be, I think it might be touch and go for Overlooked.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, we've had some major changes to competition coming into Season 20, Genome. How do you feel our teams have done so far with the Evo changes?
Oh, it's been really interesting to see, you know, some of those perks, even, you know, getting a look at some of those stats that we've had to show it's not even cut and dried yet between which perks you can choose. Here's just another example. We've got Caustic, obviously one of the most picked legends in this lobby, and you can see everyone actually going for the Particle Diffuser, so no one really worrying about the Parabolic Force. Obviously, you know, if you're setting up the barrels, usually you're in a spot, you've got there already. I think the throw range doesn't do a lot, whereas obviously denying area or hurting people with Particle Diffuser, really good. Interesting to see 10% of people going for Breathe It In. I would imagine, I'm just taking a guess here, Lace, but I'm guessing that would be teams who maybe got their purple quite late. And at that point, they're like, hey, let's play for this end game, and I'm gonna have to actually like sit inside my gas. I know there's gonna be people inside it that I can 1v1. But Residual Toxins obviously is running away with that. It's quite long. Like you really do. It's. I mean, if you think about Mad Maggie's passive, where she gets the vision on people after you hit them, Residual Toxins is kind of like that, but I think it might be for even longer. So it's actually quite powerful in terms of a sort of like soft wall hack type, you know, getting that knowledge of where the players are.
Yeah, and, you know, we saw a lot of teams using Caustic in, you know, earlier stages of competition, and then we saw a big break from Caustic, which has been kind of nice. You know, not one of my favourite picks coming up against one, but yeah, just to see Caustic sort of come back and into meta is exceptional, especially, you know, with the gas actually spreading and protruding a little bit, you know, more around the area. So it can be, you know, a perfect defense for our teams. But we're going to take ourselves a short little break. We will see you shortly for game number 4.
5 Valkyrie actual, ready for burn.
And welcome back, everyone. We just came out of match number 3 where our tastiest team, Team Burger, just took out the win there. You know, we've got teams from Singapore, Australia, Thailand, China, and more. And as we gear up for our next match, which is Storm Point, just been exceptional gameplay on World's Edge at the moment, Gino.
It's been some fun stuff. I mean, yeah, like 2v3 clutch there. Yeah, you can't ask for much better than that, especially with one of the fan favorites, Team Burger. I mean, who doesn't want to see Sharky back at LAN?
Exactly. You know, we've pulled him out of the retirement home, so let's just chuck him back on the stage.
Damn straight. Express ticket, first class, please. Whatever it takes to get that man back on the big stage, I am here for it.
Exactly right. But, you know, we're gearing up for Storm Point, which is, you know, our match number 4. We will take a look at the beacon and we can see where our teams will be landing. You know, a lot of teams are going to make some different rotates due to a lot of our Evo changes. Why don't you take us through, Gino?
Yeah, so there's been wholesale changes over on Storm Point, right? World's Edge is a little bit more cut and dried because, you know, Trials is really the only PvE spot you've got. Not the case here for Storm Point, right? Like, those PvE sections, the spiders, the prowlers that you can kill, even the flyers over, you know, down towards, say, down base in North Pad, are now actually a big deal. So if we have a look over there, you know, you've just got places like, you know, the mill, you're starting off with prowlers, you've got, you've also got teams down at Launchpad who have, you know, several options with both spiders and prowlers, and you're going to see teams actually jostle Lace over which teams get those spots that are in between them, right? Like I think I saw teams up the top, Team Burger, talking about, you know, who gets the spiders down south of them. Do they get them? Do Lightning Rod get them? The teams may actually. I don't think they're going to fight over them necessarily, but they fight off server, right? They fight to decide who actually gets that spot.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, and there's obviously the Evo Harvester collection points where they sort of spawn about 40 seconds after round 1, so a lot of them may pop up near them. But, you know, these teams that are sort of taking down the Prowlers or the Spiders, although you can do it, you know, Spiders are quite quick. You know, you can kind of pop them and chuck a grenade. It's all done and dusted. Prowlers can sometimes take a little bit longer, so is that putting them in a bad position to be, you know, have a team sort of creep up on them? You do need to think about these sorts of things when sort of, you know, harvesting for these Evo points.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think, yeah, it depends, like, even where you drop out of the ship now, that, you know, is also going to make a difference as well. Because as you say, if you've got teams who are rotating really quickly and you're sitting around waiting for the Prowlers to come out, yeah, but I think rotates have slowed down across the board, so maybe that sort of evens things out, but it will vary between POIs.
Yeah, and some of our contests, I want to sort of pick your brain on this. So obviously teams are not going to be able to drop on a purple shield per se from luck. Have you seen any changes to our contests because, you know, our teams are spawning with the same shields? Do we see that they're happening a little bit faster, or are they taking things a little bit more slow when landing with a team?
Yeah, I think it definitely has had an impact because you are essentially, yeah, you just have whites. You know, it's really hard to sort of get blues early, essentially.
Yeah, exactly right. But let's take a look. This is going to be our 4th match, Storm Point. Let's go take it away.
Yeah, I mean, just on that topic, it seems like to me, so far at least, the majority of these contests have gone, I would say, a little quicker actually than what we have been seeing previously. I don't know if that was just look, we've only seen 3 so far here in APAC South, so maybe that's something that will develop, but it felt like they've gone a little bit quicker so far in this season. But here we go, on to our next game, and we get to see how things are going to continue to shape up here. We do head on to Storm Point, expecting maybe a little less caustic here, but just having a cursory look at the compositions myself, still seeing probably, again, 50% of the teams picking caustic.
Yeah, look, a couple of things I do want to note as we pull in here, and you guys can, yeah, you can sort of get that sense of the legends. You know, I'm seeing a Newcastle pop up. That's definitely a new one. is that, yeah, so look, I think it was Serenity that was sort of trying to claim both Echo and Coastal Camp. You can see here they have just let LU split that. And the same over at Barometer. You know, MXF and White Flash essentially just carving that one up in half. You can see the ring is heading towards Pylon. Wonton Dumpling have scanned that. They're going to be pretty happy about that pull. And yeah, so we are headed down south here. Actually, one more thing I should just mention, Elfish, is that the double ring console scan is in the game for just this week. I think it might be finished by next boy. I still shot on the Sentinel. But yeah, you can kind of cheese that still at the moment, right? So you want to land directly on your ring console, pop it for 200 points. As the first ring pops up, you'll get another 200 points. So it's a big advantage for teams who have to start off with that ring console, and also teams who start off earlier on the dropship path.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you think about the possibility of getting 200 Evo, how easy is it to get 200 Evo? I mean, and I guess you sort of equate it to 200 damage in terms of like, how easy is it to get 200 damage out versus how easy is it to scan the ring console? Well, I think we know the answer there, so certainly seems a little bit, there's some free Evo, basically.
It also just means that you essentially guarantee yourself blues to start with, because if you don't have one of those, you know, what are you going to rely on? Like, you need maybe a perk bin and an Evo harvester. If you run into anyone early on, it just means you're like guaranteed those blues.
Yeah, a little bit of an advantage potentially early on in the piece, but either way, not a huge concern at this point in time. Overlooked Entertainment already on their way in, aren't they? They're trying to scout things out. They've got the Trident ready to go. A lot of room to work with at the moment still. Everybody is happy doing some looting, so nothing too crazy.
This is down at Launchpad here. We've got a couple of teams actually in there. So obviously one of them is Godhand. You got T4 pulling up from Devastated Coast, and then Serenity just holding one of the outer buildings here on the Launchpad.
Yeah, really just some back and forth chip damage happening. I'm having a look at the minimap myself, and I'm really not seeing a whole lot of anything. There's no real engagements actually happening. Most teams have already rotated down, unless they're one of the teams hard toward the north, and this is pretty much the only action that's going on around the map. Final start. Oh my. They're going to instantly lose a player off the bat. Tree Cleaner getting cleaned up, in fact.
That's Dexter looking pretty sharp with the scout there. Has put him down without taking a lick of damage himself. And this is Tom Young-kun, a team that you do not want to be going up against early. But you know, there's an assault bin nearby. There's an Evo harvester nearby. So all of a sudden we've got these objectives on the map that these teams need to be fighting over. And it causes early conflicts like this. And so Tom Young-kun, they're ready for it. They win those objectives, and they also win the 3KP.
Yeah, over in a bit of a flash there, really. Tom Young-kun making that one look easy. Saw an Alt Excel or two getting tossed on the ground there as well for Ziki and Asia. And so they'll be back to fighting fitness straight away. There's no one really in the nearby vicinity here either for Tom Young-kun, so they will actually have a bit of time to play with, get themselves fully reset and ready to go, which might not be the worst of choices anyway. You know, they can take their time, play edge this game. They are a long way away from where the zone's going to end up, and they are aware of that as well. So they're not going to be trying to make a beeline to get center zone. On the other hand, though, T4 may have got themselves in a bit of a spot of bother here. There's caustic gas everywhere. There's Bangalore rockets landing on the ground. And Lightning Unicorn are also suffering as a result of that. Jack Q currently being revived.
Oh my god, do they actually get this off? Let's see, the Thermite goes in. Does it land? Well, at least stops them getting that bat off. And yeah, okay, there we go. The Arc Stars here, probably going to be the end. They just have to wait for these barrels to go down. But it is slowing them down, and there's other teams now having a look. MDY-WHITE from on top of the hill have scouted this out, but no, they're actually going to take a different fight behind them. And it will just remain 3v3 between these two teams. Bearclaw actually poking away from Pylon's side, and there you go. LU goes down. T4 happy to take their loot.
That got messy for a second there, but yeah, Bearclaw not interested in leaving the safety of their compound. Aren't going to get into the thick of things. We've seen this kind of a fight all too many times. It's Overlooked Entertainment up against MDY. And oftentimes the fights in this building tend to be a bit of a stalemate.
Yeah, they do, don't they? It can take quite a while. But
very hard to push. There's a lot of choke points, you know.
Well, especially when you've got caustics involved, right? There's barrels behind every wall, every door that you're going to have to wait for, you're going to have to clear out. And then you've got the caustic ultimates, of course, ready to go. So Bigsy holding his for the moment, and so is Jojo.
Ooh, okay. Morgenstern having a little bit of a look. I wonder if that's meant to be German. Augenstern, which would be like, it means eye stars.
Okay. Damn. Dropping the knowledge.
Well,
let's go.
I don't know if it's like, maybe. Could be. Either way, cool name. We'll take it. Overlooked Entertainment have control of the roof, which I guess given the circumstances is not a bad place to be, considering there's no one that really wants a third party in this fight, but they have just been dropped.
Yeah, I think both
surely you got to push off the back of that
as well. But yeah, do they want to give up their spot inside the building? I'm not sure that MDY-WHITE. Now we see Beyond having a look outside. Surely they don't get them. Let them get this res off, because the teams don't know it, but this building is actually going to be very important in endgame. It is not pulling back. Well, it could pull back towards Pylon, but this particular building will be in for another 2 circles.
Ooh, look who's having a little bit of a watch, though. On the other side of this engagement is Serenity. Haven't really fired off too many shots just yet, but they are going to make their presence known with Beast of the Hunt being popped straight away there by Boogie. And Serenity definitely wanting to push their way forward. Someone's trying to scamper away. It was VC. Will get picked up by Boogie on the back end there. MDY-WHITE do come out, or sorry, MDY rather, do come out the better for that engagement. But now they've kind of got to deal with Serenity, so it's out of the frying pan into the fire in a sense.
Well, they've even popped a caustic ulti on the inside there, as well as Beast to the Hunt. So Serenity really trying to make this happen. The other 2 teams, as you said, kind of was playing to stall it out. But because MDY-WHITE weren't decisive, they didn't clean up that fight after they got the knock. I mean, you know, now they're at risk of taking damage from both these teams and potentially not being able to control the situation themselves.
Overlooked Entertainment aren't out of this by any means either, by the way. They've still got a couple of members up, and funnily enough, VC somehow has been able to crawl all the way back, and that actually is a potential res.
He's going for
They're trying to figure out where's the best place to do it, though.
He's gonna punch him under.
All right.
Oh my god, he's even got the gold knock. Yeah, wow. Oh, no! Oh, he gets it off! He literally, and the second he gets it off, yeah, they hear it, he dies. Okay, back inside the building, but now, Serenity have, yeah, they're taking some space off of MDY-Black.
Oh, they might be able to take a lot more than just that off of MDY-Black. I think they're going to take the building away from them. It's just Kyun left alive, and Serenity with a strong trio still. Matter of time at least before they secure the building, if not even wipe MDY-Black. Shots going through. Oh, the smokes aren't quite enough to save, but maybe that third party was.
Oh my god, Beyond literally won. Literally 1 HP, gets the med kit off, and may be able to wrap this out, because I know it, like this spot, it kind of feels like we're out of the heart of the action, right? Because there's a lot of teams sitting over in Pylon, and also a couple up towards like mid-map as well. But the circle has continued to pull over here. So, yeah, you know, shout out to the observers. They've, you know, got to correctly predicted the ring here. And this is the sort of area that these teams need to be fighting over. And I guess as, we will swap back to Pylon eventually, because there's going to be quite a few teams having to leg it out from there and over towards this sort of western end of Launchpad.
XNY don't look like they're in a great spot at all, but either way, we'll go back over to White Flash, who are trying to make their way down from the northern side of the map as well. They are one of the teams that has the longest rotates to make. APG with some chip damage here and there. Mostly just trying to hold on to their little spot in the zone.
JR is actually about to pull off a double respawn. He's,
yeah, looks like it'll work.
Grabs the trident, and yeah, he's managed to get both of these guys back in right on top of an Evo Harvester. That's honestly...
White Flash are looking though. I think White Flash are interested.
Yep, absolutely, yep. Proto, Sawyer, and Rokoko on the red already are going to be gatekeeping them, I think. You can see way those arrows are directed. But do they actually get away? They've rotated too fast! Zooming straight in! That was a trident rotate, by the way.
They've gone straight into Legends Gaming though. Are they going to get away with this?
Yeah, Legend are up the top, right? So this is it's like the Tri building. They're playing the spot in between the rocks up north.
Send.
Damn.
Well, APG are trying to make their way through as well. Wonton Dumpling up in Pylon. Don't have to do too much moving and shaking at the moment. Got that high ground, so good opportunity with the charge rifle to do a bit of damage.
Okay.
Good. There we go. This will be where the Newcastle comes into play, though. You mentioned that earlier on. Tell you what, that's value.
Damn. Hitting shots with it. I mean, yeah, it's probably a gun you just you take while you're sitting up the top, because obviously Wonton Dumpling land pylon, so they can control that high ground. You sit up there, and then when you're ready to rotate, probably has another gun somewhere, you know, ready to switch that out.
Yep.
Don't waste ammo. Yeah, get some big hits like that. Charge the Evo. It's a good strat.
126 damage for Peak Gods against the purple, so won't take too long if he keeps hitting shots like that. But either way, X and Y, YC, XD and JR trying to take this fight to Legends. We talked about that rotation that was made. Looks like Legends do want to punish it, though they themselves are not at 100% fighting fitness, so I've had to slow down a little bit here.
No.
See if they can get that res.
They traded with X and Y, though, so that may save them for now. You can see getting some fences up there just to try and get that done in time. White Flash, they're just poking at them from across here. We've got 20 seconds until the zone starts pushing in, and Legends Gaming will have to make a pretty risky rotate. Most of them are about 500 Evo points off upgrading to purple. So, you know, not super achievable by a damage anytime soon unless they get into a real big battle here, Elfish. This is going to be a super tough rotate here from Legends Gaming. They're going up. You can see that is their evac tower right now. Teams trying to focus on that. Will they get it off? I don't think so.
Yeah, they can't move. Well, we got a listen in ready to go with Legends, so let's see how things are going in their camp.
Side the caustic! Side the caustic!
I killed him, blood! Same team!
We just walk in left, guys. We're walking in left.
Yep.
Walk in left.
I think this guy. I thought of them.
People here! I cracked one!
Left, swing left! Tamar, please!
Okay.
Oh, bro. No.
Alright, well, White Flash doing a bit of a number there as Legends Gaming go down. X and Y also getting eliminated, and we are into the final 7 teams remaining.
We
got triple reds.
It almost felt like there was hope there in Strafing Flame's voice, and I was looking at the map, and I didn't really see it myself, but hey, I mean, why wouldn't you have that belief in yourself after the kind of games they've had so far today, Elfish? Doesn't work out for them this time, but no doubt they're still going to be picking up a hefty amount of split points with their performance in this group's A and C today. So, Burger, as you said, triple reds, they're looking fantastic. They've got a nice little spot to gatekeep. It obviously helped take out Legends Gaming there, and now they're looking for another target. They're looking for White Flash, and then you've got a couple of teams here over on the west-hand side as well, and that'll be, you know, T4, Bearclaw Gaming, MXF, and Wonton Dumpling.
I tell you what, this Newcastle shield is really coming into play a lot in this game. It's a difficult zone to work with, so MXF are getting a lot of value out of that Newcastle, but might be coming to an end in a second here. Although it is actually Bearclaw that are on the receiving end of things this time around, it is, though, not really going to be too fateful for MXF either, as they're also dropped and right up on the high ground. Who is that? Someone flying through the air. Either way, Wonton Dumpling have landed in the engagement. This is just getting messy at this point. Wonton Dumpling looks to have come off pretty good and cleared out this side of the zone. So T4 down now as well and into the final 4. But Wonton Dumpling, Kraber, 3 sets of perps. They're ready to go.
Okay, let's go. Yeah, I mean, they only just upgraded to purple in that fight as well. Oh my lordy. And we have a Kraber Eva combo now.
Well, first Kraber shot not quite going to connect. An exchange of some ammo going on.
4 full squads
Wonton Dumpling can afford to... Well, Wonton Dumpling can afford to play this one a little slower. They're up on the high ground. Zone's moving in at the moment, but they don't have to go in just yet, so let these other teams do a bit of chip damage against one another. See if you can hit a Kraber shot here or there. Team Burger, they don't really have that luxury. They're kind of fighting for their lives every step of the way.
So Burger sitting at full reds. We've got Serenity, 1 red, 2 purples. Wonton Dumpling, 3 purples. White Flash, 1 red, 2 purples. So I don't think...
Wow.
Actually, Serenity have done enough that they may be able to upgrade here. The rest of the purples probably not going to get there for this fight. There's actually an Evo Harvester like smack bang in the middle of this circle. But yeah, you'd have to be a madman to go for it at this point, I'd say.
Oh, Sharky. He's stressing that bat. I think it's going to come through just in time and will be indeed enough to save the day. White Flash have been eliminated. They were really trying to hide behind the palm tree. I don't know if we caught footage of that, but...
I mean, but that's such an important fight win for Burger now, right? Like, it's so risky because the other teams can send you, they can take shots at you while that fight is occurring, but now the Team Burger have cleared that side out. They're actually in a prime spot to take this one out.
Well, Serenity is kind of headed in their direction. They've got a couple of Skynades getting tossed in there as well, so we'll need to be a little bit careful here. Team Burger under the pumps. The artillery barrage does start to land, though. They are giving as good as they're getting. Second for the lobby overall at the moment. Team Burger have a chance to actually jump up into first, given that Legends Gaming have been knocked out. Akuma also nowhere to be seen, so...
Yeah, so Way running that full support on the Bloodhounds here. Both the scan upgrades coming out from him, so he'll be just pumping that tactical, trying to get the information through to the rest of his team.
Does look like Wonton Dumpling's game to lose, though, doesn't it? They are in pole position. They've got the high ground. They're doing the chip damage, and they've got both Burger and Serenity below them, kind of fighting one another, and essentially, with mutually assured destruction, you'd say that Wonton Dumpling are going to walk away with what will be an easy kind of 1-on-3 or a 2-on-3, something like that, to close this game out, though they want to pull the trigger here. You see, it is their opportunity, and Wonton Dumpling, they're making this one look easy, though the exchange came back for a moment, but won't last long. Wonton Dumpling, in the end, did make it look easy.
Nice work from them, and yeah, look, another solid finish from Burger, but Wonton Dumpling walking away with it.
Yeah, super solid stuff, and well, I was saying it might be Burger that could potentially take the first place for the overall standings, but maybe Wonton Dumpling. I know they were in third going into that end zone, so it'll be tight. We'll have to see.
Flourish on Storm Point. You know, in previous weeks we've seen them with high kill points. They usually, you know, run edge and collect, you know, souls along the way. They didn't seem to have as many in the top 5 squads. You know, we'll have to check the leaderboard to see how many they just got right at the end there. But you know what? Game number 4, our first match on Storm Point. Elfish, I feel like, you know, we didn't see too many changes in Legends comps as we switch over to the larger map. We still got a fair few teams running Bang, Caustic, Bloodhound. You know, slight changes with, you know, a new castle thrown out there, but still the comp teams seem relatively the same.
Yeah, I agree. It didn't really feel any different necessarily. I felt like that Newcastle, though, got a bit of value. I didn't mind seeing that one. The shields helping out, but didn't ultimately come through with the win in the end. But yeah, I mean, I think we're still pretty early on in the piece as far as this patch is concerned. Teams are kind of figuring things out. Maybe they don't want to be changing up too much. I recall, if you remember the conversation we were having about the Ashe earlier, there was a meta maybe, what, a year, 12 months ago, a little bit longer than that, maybe 2 years ago, where, you know, oftentimes you would really see the swap going from Storm Point to World's Edge. But I don't really get that same sense quite as much at the moment, so I wonder if that'll be something that will come through as teams get a little bit more familiar with what their options are in this patch and what they like to play and what they don't like to play, and how things are sort of developing. I think it's still quite early days. You know, we'll look back on this week in maybe, you know, 2 months and be like, well, a lot has changed,
How
obviously,
we were
since
wrong,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, but you know, Wonton Dumpling here just cleaning up everybody and the rest. You know, we're going to check out the scoreboard shortly and see exactly what they have just done. That's 9 kills on the board for them. You know, usually we see Gugu there with top damage, and again has, you know, pulled out 2,327 damage alone. Excellent stuff from Wonton. You know, they are sitting quite high in the overall leaderboard. I believe they're second, just under Legends Gaming. So, you know, the first couple of matches there on World's Edge were not up to scratch. However, you know, they're still way out in front.
Yeah, most definitely. Big game, though, from Wonton Dumpling, Team Burger. See how that's going to shape things up on the overall standings. And it is Wonton Dumpling that are just going to leapfrog Legends Gaming. As we said, Team Burger did have that opportunity as well, but they weren't able to close the win out. And so they just got pipped to the post a little bit, but it's still pretty tight toward the top end there. Even Akuma having a little bit of fun in that conversation. But it's starting to develop a fairly hefty top 3.
Yeah, we got to watch closely on, you know, teams such as Lightning Unicorn. This is the last time they're going to play for Group A, you know, coming in about 10th there and sitting overall 16th on the leaderboard. Want to make sure that they aren't overtaken by the likes of, let's say, you know, VK Gaming, who still have another round to play, you know, sitting at about 22. So, you know, a lot of these teams might need to pull out a couple more points to sort of solidify themselves in that top 20 for regional finals.
Indeed, indeed. It's going to be a tight affair. We've got a couple of games still yet to go. Obviously, Storm Point saw a couple of contests. It's going to be still kind of a tight affair going into those next couple of games, but we'll have to wait and see.
Exactly right. So that was just game number 4. We're going to take ourselves a short little break, and we will see you for game number 5.
prize.
Yeah, welcome back, everyone. You're witnessing APAC-South in all of its glory. Groups A vs C are in the firing line at the moment as we see our teams compete for the top spots going into the regional finals. Elfish, our spice-filled steamrollers, Wonton Dumpling, taking out the win there in game number 4, putting them in first place.
Yeah, look, it's a bit of a tenuous position, though. There was a couple of teams that was Legends Gaming and Team Burger that were pretty close by, so wouldn't really be banking on holding on to that position, considering especially as well we've seen Legends Burger able to win games so far today already. Wouldn't be too surprised to see Legends in particular kind of finish strong. They've been a little bit slower there on match 3 and 4, but match 2 was a big one, so they've got the chops, that's for sure. See how things go here into game number 5 and 6.
Yeah, and as you know, we've had some changes throughout season 20. Some of our legend picks have changed as well. You know, we still have Bangalore out in front. Bangalore's been quite a large pick for a lot of our teams, be able to provide that cover. But sneaking up behind that, we haven't seen too much of Elfish's Bloodhound.
Yeah. I mean, look, we obviously haven't really had too much time to talk about all the legend picks that are beyond the top 3 there, but you know, you're kind of getting a little bit of variety in there, which is kind of nice to see. It feels like Bloodhound almost at the moment. I think if I was choosing a composition, I'd be picking Bloodhound as well, just because of there's so many smokes, right? There's not only the Bangalore smokes, but there's also the caustic smokes that you have, or gas, I guess, that you have to look through. So I just feel like if you don't have a Bloodhound, if you're not running a Bloodhound, you are sort of shooting yourself in the foot. But we have seen teams having some success without it. But yeah, for me personally, it feels like kind of a no-brainer to be heading in that direction.
Yeah, exactly right. And, you know, as the removal of the digi threat from SMGs, we still see a lot of our teams running SMGs. It is still, you know, a top pick weapon. Not a lot of people using the, you know, the pistols or the shotguns, which use the digi threat now. So Bloodhound, you can tell why is being chosen as, you know, a crucial part of the team, composition. I also sort of wanted to touch on, you know, our team Wonton Dumpling. Yes, they've overtaken Legends Gaming. They're quite close on the overall leaderboard. Only about I think it's a 10-point difference there. So, you know, we might even see Wonton Dumpling, if they can keep it together. You know, they are heavy hitters on Storm Point to be able to take over Legends Gaming. This is the last time we're going to watch Legends Gaming compete, because they are Group A, and Wonton Dumpling get another chance, I believe, being in Group C, so B versus C. So we could even see a major shift in our overall leaderboard.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, especially if things continue in the way that they are. Like if Wonton Dumpling can top this lobby, they would be getting 25 points. Legend maybe get, let's say, 21 there. So that's plus minus 4. Wonton Dumpling would go to they're 10 behind now, so they go 6 behind with the lobby to play. And I think you'd probably back them to get 6 points out of their next lobby, the way they're playing at the moment. So I would probably say, yeah, at the end of today, actually, it is kind of looking like this team on your screen right now, Wonton Dumpling, might be the team that will walk away with the first place overall for the season. Boogie Borders Heroes we're going to get to see for round number B versus C, and that could happen relatively quickly as well. Those two teams are pretty solid, so I guess it's anybody's guess, but
yeah,
obviously, you know, you can still sort of draw a bit of a conclusion that maybe Wonton Dumpling are in the best position at the moment to take first of this split, which would, well, first going into the finals, which is obviously a nice place to be.
Yeah, you know, and it might be sort of the last time we might see, you know, even the likes of Bearclaw Gaming and teams like White Flash are actually, you know, performing decently well today. They are sitting, you know, a little bit lower on the leaderboard there. I think White Flash is about 25th at the moment, so they want to be very careful. You know, might be the end of God Hand there, sitting in 17th on this, and then overall 26th. So it's going to be a little bit sad to say, you know, goodbye to some of these teams not making it into the regional finals.
Yeah, I think the issue that you're kind of looking at here for teams like White Flash that are trying to get into the top 20, and you're kind of looking at that scoreboard and saying, oh, well, it might be doable, right? They've got 31 points overall. They're in 9th place. They get some points. You know, maybe they can jump up, but you also have to sort of take into account that SWQ, Monster Firebird, and C, they're all sort of teams that aren't playing in this lobby. They're sitting at 17, 18, 19 right now. They are going to get points in the next lobby, no matter sort of which way you paint it. So you kind of have to be going above and beyond right here to account for the fact that those points are still yet to be gained by the teams that you're trying to catch. And obviously, at least in the case of White Flash, they don't get to play in the next lobby. So
Yeah.
it'll be a tough day for them, I'd say. But, you know, maybe VKG, for example, they're going okay today. They could be in with the discussion. MDY-WHITE as well. You talked about that a little bit earlier on as well. A few teams that are kind of keeping themselves in the conversation, but yeah, a couple that you could almost, if you're really being honest, kind of already strike the line through.
Yeah, so VK Gaming, I think, still have a great chance. You know, they're going to be in the next group as well, being in Group C. So they have been doing a little bit better. We haven't seen too much of them in the earlier weeks. So to have them sort of performing a little bit better today and then having, you know, that next lobby of 6 matches, it could be such a crucial turnaround for them also. Lightning Unicorn, again, you know, the last time that we're going to see them compete today as well. They are sitting above the top 20, but again, like teams such as VKG Gaming having that next 6 matches could also shoot themselves above that. So it's going to be such a close game, and it's going to be very exciting to see the overall standings.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to be going back and forth still over the course of today. And usually when we get into that second lobby, the final kind of like lobby of the regular split, we're like almost doing like mental arithmetic as we're going through like the last 3 or 4 games. And we're saying, okay, well, if this happens and this happens and this happens, then this team and this team will qualify. And if that happens, then this team will qualify. And you kind of get into that point where it's like, well, you know, you can talk about the theoretics, you can talk about the possibilities as much as you want. But at the end of the day, you kind of do just have to sort of watch, wait and see what's going to happen. And ultimately we do sort of get to the end of the day with the top 20, and obviously once you get in the top 20, like anything can happen. Seen it in the past in APAC-South. Team Grape, that's the right name. I think it was Team Grape back in the day, just came out of nowhere and won a split. So
yeah,
it can happen.
And one of our favorite things to have a look at is our, you know, our little ratatas, throw your pokeballs. It is the ratting stat that we have here. You know, some teams sort of drop in and maybe lose a couple of their team members and have to play their best rat game. So, you know, you've got your Koi there with a nice little ratting time, Elfish.
Yeah, doing a pretty good job. And we talked about this in the last week, I think, as well, how important that can actually end up being. It can be the difference potentially between, you know, making, maybe let's say in this case, maybe making the top 20 and not making the top 20. Obviously not the case necessarily for Akuma, who are sitting pretty comfortably in 9th place overall, and they're probably going to get a lot of points out of this lobby too, because I think they were sitting in 4th for this lobby, so they'll be quite solid, even though they're not playing the next lobby. But yeah, for teams that are sort of sitting in those like tight positions that can really be decided by 1 or 2 points, then yeah, those extra placement points that you gain can be a big difference maker for sure.
That's it. And these teams are, you know, excited to place and they're excited to go to LAN, but we are itching and rearing to go. Let's take it away for game number 5. This is Storm Point.
Well, off we go back to Storm Point, and we'll get to see how things are going to shape up for the penultimate game of this lobby. Still got 2 more to go, including this one for groups A and C, and then A is done. So this is about as good as it's going to get if you're Legends Gaming, for example, Serenity, Burger, Akuma. All these big names have to get as many points as possible before going into the finals next weekend. And this is their last couple of opportunities to do so.
Yeah, so obviously it's not set after this weekend, Elfish. You know, look, Burger can have a good finish here. I don't think they'd be locked in for top 8 after that. They would also most likely have to perform quite well in the regional finals to make sure they get that ticket overseas. But considering where they were at the start of the season, it has been a nice upward trajectory for them, a pleasant one.
I think that's what you want, right? You want to be sort of peaking at the right time. Don't dump everything that you've got in the first couple of weeks and then come into the final week and 5th or something like that, and then just drop off the radar and don't get anything done. That would be not ideal at all. Definitely still get overtaken in that final lobby, but another little change up as far as the zone pools are going to be concerned. Go hard up to the north. Looks like MXF are going to stick with the Newcastle as well. They felt like they got enough value out of it in the last game to keep what I would say is a pretty unorthodox pick in the mix. And the only other one to really sort of point out here is that Catalyst coming through for White Flash is also, again, a bit of an unorthodox pick in this lobby that no one else has kind of gone for.
Yeah, and I guess actually one of the biggest differences here we've got is there not a single Horizon pick? I'm just having a look around. No.
I thought there was last round, but maybe on World's Edge there was.
All right, I'll look out. I don't see one in the lobby right
Not
now.
here.
Yeah, and that's huge, right? Like if you compare that to the other regions, actually quite a lot of Horizon. So that's a pretty big stylistic change. Once again, seeing some fights here over some of these choke points. This time it's Legends and Gaming that's gone down. They're trying to hide behind these fences here. I don't know if that's going to be enough to keep them up. No, Player K, he's already heading for the hills.
Yeah, it was a nice one tap from Rudine to get that initial knock, and Bearclaw Gaming are just happy to push off the back of that. Not only do they get the kills and the loot, but they're also going to be able to farm the spiders a little bit as well. So it'll help with your Evo. Get a bit of extra loot on the back end there as well. And so Player K from Legends is going to have to do this one as a solo mission for now. It is still pretty early on in the piece, so you might be able to retrieve those banners and get a revive. There's a lot of space to work with. The issue is that is going to be a rotation point for a lot of teams. So I'm not sure that he's going to actually have an easy time of recovering those banners.
No. It'd be tough. They've got the conduit though, right? So, you know, probably more likely to just, you know, go to the wall, craft over there, and there's very conveniently a crafter right next to the respawn beacon. So, and actually no one around there at the moment. KPG are coming through if he does it quickly enough, as they kind of do the spiders over there. I think he'll actually time this pretty well and then potentially get back into the ring. So, I don't know, man. Legends Gaming are like, they're the cats of APAC-South right now, because every game it seems like they've got 9 lives, right? Like, they just keep getting up again.
Yep. And I'll keep an eye on that and let you know, but definitely looking like they're going to be able to do that. The banners have been taken and the beacon's about to be lit, I guess. The dinner bell is going to be rung, but yeah, like you said, KPG are kind of miles away from that respawn, so it doesn't look like it's going to be much of an issue at all for Legends, which is, yeah, again, quite impressive how they keep managing to swindle those kinds of things. But either way, taking a look at where potentially this zone is going to end up. You got the ring touching on the northern side, so it should continue to pull in this direction toward the trenches. It's always a fun final zone, I find, those trenches.
I mean, it's good to have Bangalore, obviously, in these kind of situations, which, you know, as we've said, is pretty universal across the board in this lobby. But yeah, you know, if you lose your Bang player, they go down for some reason, like, how likely are you to get a reset? Not very likely.
Subject spotted. There.
Well, X and Y are certainly taking their time about things, having a scout toward the mill. Waiting to see Serenity exit before they push their way forward. It's kind of the leapfrog type gameplay that you do tend to see a little bit in Apex Legends, in Battle Royales in general. One team moving away from a point of interest, and then the next team occupies it. And then they move away, and the team behind them takes it. So on and so forth.
I think we should go there.
Okay, so just sitting in the middle here, trying to pick up some extra loot. Gonna get a little bit closer with an Evo Harvester and a couple of these bins.
Nemesis here.
Thankfully for them, no one else around to pick up support bin and the assault bin that they have access to up the top here. KPG actually still in the zone behind them, by the way. They also have a Trident. I don't know if they really want to use that to boost in here, but as you can see, Legends, I mean, they've got the info that it's going to be pulling further towards the trenches, as we said, but for the moment, I think they don't really want to get in anyone else's way, because they obviously are going to be struggling a little bit for loot. Ooh. Actually, a potential checkpoint zone here, Elfish.
It's not something that you see every day. I like the checkpoint zones, though. I've got to be honest with you. I like the verticality that comes with it. very difficult zone to play, particularly if you end up on the low ground. So for teams that are still kind of making their way in and maybe have that information, they're going to want to get in there pretty quick. BK-Gaming have the right idea. They want to take control of the height. Might be easier said than done, though. Kassa will be working his way up, and that'll be an easy one, actually. So maybe it was easier done than said.
Yeah, White Flash very much on the run now. Other teams starting to sniff around. Wonton Dumpling taking the zip up towards the coffin building there, as you can see, and then Serenity also down towards the sort of the middle ground, I guess you call it, down where the bins are, and also moving up to try and take one of those buildings. So definitely a couple of teams actually thinking, hey, I know these are rare. Most of Checkpoint is, you know, not eligible to be a final zone, but they are willing to play from there. It could, look, it could still pull north of the mountains. I'd say next zone probably will tell us whether that's going to happen or not, but interesting possibility.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a 50-50. I mean, I would even argue that more of Checkpoint is actually in the next zone than not. Yep. That doesn't always necessarily translate to the direction the zone's going to go into. This could get messy pretty quickly for Full Engage, who unfortunately are just a duo. And I don't know if they're going to last very long off the back of that. That's Johnny Dang out of the picture, and Full Engage very quickly taken out of the game by Overlooked Entertainment. Just not really the place to land when you're a duo, unfortunately.
XMY sniffing around though as well. They get the scan on them after that comes through, and although Overlooked Entertainment didn't take any losses in that fight, they have been caught off guard.
XMY though, I wonder if they've bitten off more than they can chew. This is starting to get a bit of a messy area of the map. You've got MXF firing some cross shots across as well, so XMY are going to have to back up, and actually XMY take the bigger loss because their teammate JR was actually finished off, whereas Overlooked Entertainment actually being able to find the revive, and they're still healthy with 3.
How did that happen? That turned around so quickly.
Overlooked were inside of the bunker, and they were the team that was not getting third party. XMY were getting third party, so a little more to worry about.
Yeah, I guess just the long range, you know, sentinel shots and whatnot coming in from further in towards the trenches. Teams further down, like T4. There's 2 of them. They're just going to double send it towards the single remaining God Hand member. But beautiful tracking there from, ironically, Tracking Bad. Actually means he turns this into a 1v1, trying to make it happen with the nades there. But, oh, the Arc Star slow. Oh, I mean, that's so sad. Like, tracking unbelievably good on the first person, but then you can't do much. Like, once it slows down your mouse, it's just so hard to get those bullets on track, and that means the T4 walk away with it and get the res in time.
Insta-res for T4. Happy with that. And, well, there's a good way to farm some Evo. Actually, am I crazy, or are we seeing reds way earlier now than what we used to?
I mean, apart from teams that would fully farm reds from, like, multiple Evo crafts.
Even then, it feels like it's come through earlier. I guess maybe not, but, like, I just feel like we're seeing reds earlier more often.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the difference is it's only on one team member, because to get there early, you obviously need to hit an Evo cache, and those only come in single denominations. Whereas before, if you saw teams on red, like, you know, say X and Y, that would often do that, yeah, it's a full team coming at you with 125 shields.
It's a little quirk, I guess. I wonder if we've got any info on where that next ring is going to go now that it has pulled in.
It's a bamboozle.
It's a bamboozle. I still haven't got it yet, but we'll see.
Yep, is going north of Checkpoint on the other side of the mountains.
I see.
Yep, so
we'll talk about that in a sec, I guess, when we get that up on stream, but it's that's gonna be a spicy one.
I mean,
a lot of unplayable terrain still inside that zone too.
Like, a little bit of Checkpoint is still in though, and that means even though there are quite a few teams in Checkpoint, like Wonton Dumpling, Legends, and Serenity, whoever wins that fight will actually have a sick position where their back's probably completely cleared, and then they have the mountains on either side of them as they walk into, say, Zone 5. So it'll actually be a very powerful spot to play from.
That said, you have to basically win the checkpoint fight, which is maybe easier said than done. 'Cause there's...
Oh my god, there's a ring console
5
there
or
as well.
6.
So
yeah, 5 or 6 teams.
So if you win this next... yeah, like, you can't see the ring console. It's just above, like, in between where Wonton, Dumpling, and Serenity's names are, like, just on the edge of the circle there. So if you win this, you'll get, like, one of the best spots. You'll also get ring console, and then the ability to probably, you know, just evac over into God spot for the next zone. That's actually nuts.
I think it's easier said than done, though. Like, look at how many teams are fighting around checkpoint at the moment. Like, this is going to be an absolute bloodbath over the next 5 minutes or so. I mean, not only is there already the teams up on checkpoint itself, but you've got 4 teams that are rotating in through the south. Yeah. 1 or 2 from the east as well, depending on where Ziki and Dexter decide they want to go. It's going to be painful. Legends already getting into it. Team Burger's out. Wonton Dumpling also going boom. And we'll take a look back to the northern side again, over those trenches where everyone's just bunkering down for the moment.
Well, those Wontons certainly got steamed pretty quickly there by the nades. Cooked them up. Serenity now on top of them though, and then yeah, we've got some other teams fighting for trench supremacy here. Tom Kung win that one. Scan quickly just to see what the situation is. Akuma on blues decides not to push the issue, so luckily for them, Tom Young Kung do get the reset. And then again, this fight very important. Serenity, they actually lose Jesco, so they're gonna go.
Yeah, they're gonna give him up.
Yeah, they're just gonna go hide down in the middle somewhere here. And now Legends, they've beaten off everyone in the buildings around them, can start looking at those other teams that were sort of sitting down the bottom. You were talking about a lot of teams rotating through checkpoint from the south. So you've got a duo of White Flash down there. You've also got KeepGoing Gaming. Oh, chucking
White Flash are about to get cooked.
Oh my god. Well, those thermites didn't quite hit. The EMP does though.
Arcstar also hits, so White Flash are not in a very good spot there at all, but MDY-WHITE is going to come in and start causing a ruckus on the northern side of checkpoint as well, and it's going to be T4 that are going to be eliminated.
Double res.
Has to be a quick res here from Mingyu because there's a few teams around in checkpoint, but no one paying attention to MDY-WHITE. They've got bigger fish to fry, so that's actually a stroke of luck for MDY-WHITE.
Oh my god, Serenity got back up as well. I don't know if maybe one of the team members dropped off, and that's how they got the res there. But yeah, again, Legends Gaming, we've seen that quite a few times today. Like, teams just not definitely prioritizing their own health over going for that 1 KP and getting the finish. So yeah, Legends Gaming, still a couple of teams, maybe 4 or 5 teams, going for that amazing position we've talked about here in checkpoint.
Just got to play the long game, don't you? We've got a lot of util getting tossed over there, but no real connections just yet from KPG, who have the zone at their backs, and that zone is moving pretty quick, so they're going to have to run on in. Players to the left, going to be the focus of fire. It's White Flash out early. KPG out of the frying pan into the fire. You got Legends above who are able to rain fire down upon them. I'm not sure that there's going to be too much Lang can do about this.
Yeah, Legends, they need to look for the angles here. They have such a good spot being up top right now. They start dropping to get those finishes. Don't want to drop anyone in the meantime. Easy Flash goes low, but they do have the conduit heals here. The Radiant transfer does come out. Okay, that's one team down. Now you've got MDY-WHITE. They're full sending onto Serenity, who have been just trying to live in their smokes, and they've actually been taking a lot of fire from the trenches side, and that allows MDY-WHITE to take them down. But angles, again, from Legends Gaming, right up on top. These are so hard for teams to live down here. I think Legends Gaming are going to run away with this one.
I would say so. They've got to push it as well. They know that. They know that they've got the advantage, and they're going to continue to put that damage down onto MDY-WHITE. They've slowed things down a little bit, though, but MDY-WHITE aren't being able to find the revives. That's the important thing. Mingyu will be finished off by player K. And it's just the one member of MDY-WHITE, which, look, Legends are well aware of, and as you said as well, it's going to evac their way out.
Fascinating. They didn't take the ring console scan, though. Maybe just not enough time? I mean, it wouldn't have helped them a lot, right? Like, it's only the tiny spot of the ring, but yeah, it was that, essentially that play we talked about.
Man.
Just ripping the evac and getting straight in, and it's worked like a charm.
And see how big that alternator pylon was for them as well, because as soon as they landed, tons of nades getting tossed in their direction, but alternator pylon safe. And back to full health here, Legends, and actually potentially being pushed there by Overlooked, but Overlooked can't actually really commit to that fight because the third-party cross shots are coming through. So Legends have found themselves a bit of a spot of safety for the moment. Behind that bin, at least, they will have some cover from the trench. No one can really push up over the top.
Oh, the ArcStars, look at that. He's got so much space in the inventory. Please feed me more. Chuck a bang ult. See what happens.
Well, I'm sure some of them will be at some point. Akuma look like they're doing it tough at the moment. So it's unfortunate that the Corsic is the one on the ground because there's a lot of gas going around at the moment. Crusaders found position of safety. Might be able to get the res there.
Oh my
There's
god.
another ArcStar.
Zap, zap, zap.
Yeah. Haven't been able to really get out of the spot of bother though, Akuma. And eventually they do get taken down. Tom Yum Kung was on the other side of that, just pushing their way in to that bunker. So down to 4 remaining teams. It's Legends, Tom Yum Kung, Overlooked, and Final Start. Who, I don't even know how much we've really said their name today, but this could be a big game from them.
We've seen Tree Cleaner a couple of times, not usually in the best of circumstances, but they're playing very scared behind this this tiny little bit of wall, and even that is about to be out and unplayable. So they try and hide behind the next piece of cover, but yeah, they're really going to run out of that soon. But so is Overlooked Entertainment. Yeah,
I think Final Start and Legends have just been throwing ArcStars back at one another and like spawning ArcStars for one another because they're both Wonton teams. I've just been watching them. It's like a tennis match. An ArcStar goes one way and then it gets thrown back the other way. And it's like, oh, now it's your turn. Anyway, Legends are going to start the push. And Final Start have been pushed out of their position as well by that zone. Player K knocked instantly. Easy flash down as well. Oh, what on earth just happened to Legends? They got fucked. Final Start will be okay for the moment to find that res by the looks of things. The scan revealing 6 hostiles, but nobody pushing.
Looked like the Radiant transfers were a little bit too late there for Legends Gaming, so the Conduit unfortunately not able to get that healing back up in time for the team. Now they go in. Tom Yum Kung.
Yeah, I think it might be Tom Yum Kung, though it is Dexter and Ziki. Dexter's already lost all his HP. It won't matter. Tom Yum Kung, the champions for the 5th game of the A and C lobby. And they do it with ease.
Very nice finish there from the Thai lads. 11 kills as well. So, bang, Bloodhound Caustic wins it again.
Yeah, Tom Yum Kung, you know, we haven't really seen too much of them today. They've been sort of getting knocked out, you know, in under the top 10 positions. So nice to see them sort of solidify a win. I believe they're sitting about 9th on the overall standings, Genome. So it's nice to see, you know, that fantastic team do something there. You know, another team that we've been sort of having a look at, Final Start. Like, you know, Elfish said, we haven't really said their name too much. They're sitting quite low on the leaderboard. So unfortunately, you know, that play there may not be enough to sort of push them into some of the top spots as well. But again, great game from Final Start.
Yeah, not too bad from them either. I mean, 5 kills they picked up. Legends Gaming have just been so consistent today. It's been a real treat to watch them playing the Watson Conduit Bang comp again. You know, Strafing Flame always cooking something up. There's always doesn't like to see, it doesn't seem to like going with the meta all that often, Lace, but always seems to make it work. And yeah, another 9 kills and a 4th placement for them. That's another pretty impressive result.
Yeah, and just Legends Gaming absolutely cleaning up here. You know, they get themselves and solidify some kills. We, you know, saw them and witnessed them before have a 22-kill game on, you know, World's Edge. So they're always going to collect the kill points. Even if they're not, you know, placed in first all the time, they're still going to be up in the top of the leaderboard just with kill points alone.
Yeah, exactly. And for a team who's so good at closing out games and finding their way into the final circles, like, yeah, I mean, the evac rotation here, we saw it a mile away, but it was still an impressive play. And obviously it was that, you know, management of the checkpoint situation and steering their way through 4 or 5 teams that were pushing them and fighting them in that scenario that allowed them to make that sort of final rotation there. So here we go. Match 5, 4K damage for Tom Young Kung, and 11 kills, almost 4K for Legends as well.
Yeah, and you know, it's awesome to see some of these teams, you know, that have, you know, sitting quite low on the leaderboard sort of make their way up the top there. You know, unfortunately, we see like Lightning Unicorn, for example, they're in 12th position. You know, they're not too high in the overall standing, sitting about 16th. And this is their last time I think they play, because they're Group A at the moment, Genome. So, you know, they might need to do something a little bit more crazier to put themselves in those top positions. But again, Legend Gaming's out in front, overtaking Wonton that were just sitting in front previously. So they're kind of just going toe-to-toe at the moment.
Oh my god, so we've seen Tom Young Kung go up by 8 places after that game into 5th spot. So that was a huge game for them and their chances going forward here. Of course, yeah, you know, with the org going by the wayside, these guys, you know, want to be making it to LAN and sort of getting all the support and, you know, extra cash that's on available to them on the big stage. And we know they've done it before, and they definitely have a chance to make those final lobbies. They have that skill.
Yeah, what an exceptional game for them to push them up to that position. You know, we still got one more match there left for them, so if they can do it again, they might even see themselves creep up a little bit further. You know, our teams are very close together, 46, 45. You know, that's not very far and few in between. You know, because Legends Gaming and, you know, Wonton Dumpling are just dancing around each other as well. So all close matches. But we're going to take ourselves a short break and we will come back. It's going to be game number 6. This might be the last time you'll see our Group A compete. We never know, but we'll see you shortly.
Locked and loaded. Drop shocked and rocked. Say hello to the 401st.
For Wonton.
Get ready for a world of hurt. Kill confirmed. Gonna add you to the list.
Welcome back. You've just been witnessing Groups A versus each battle it out in our final week of the group stages. You know, we're 1 week from the regional finals. You know, the games we're seeing today are make or break for a lot of our pros. But, you know, not only that, there's a prize pool in the back of their minds as well. You know, $125,000 for, you know, spread across these teams. So not only do they want to get themselves a spot, you know, at regional finals, they want to get themselves some dollary dues.
Absolutely, yeah. That's it's starting to get down to that end of the season, Lace, where, you know, teams will be thinking about that and start plotting their way towards that first place prize, which I think is 20,000 US. So not too shabby. You know, when you take it over to LAN, maybe it buys you a little holiday afterwards as well.
I see, you know, 125,000 USD is more for Australians as well. So, you know, we have a lot of teams from Australia. We have a lot of teams, you know, China and Malaysia, Thailand make up our APAC-South region. So, you know, all these teams are excited to see victory, regional finals, and the prize pool. We are going to, you know, shortly head into our last match on Storm Point for our groups today. But, you know, we've been touching on a lot of things season 20, Genome. You know, we've had a fair few changes in and amongst that. You know, we've been chatting about the Evo shields, the way that teams can sort of get these Evo points as well, which is, you know, a massive change for competition.
It's a huge change, Lace. It's meant that I think, yeah, across the board, I would say we're seeing lower levels of shields, right? It almost felt like purple was kind of guaranteed. Past maybe sort of zone 3 in previous times, whereas now you're seeing blues late into the game. If a team hasn't been able to get purple, but they have a really good spot and they just want to sit there and sort of not poke, it actually takes quite some time to get those purples online. So, and as you were mentioning beforehand, it also means, you know, contests have changed. Early game fights are sometimes happening on just whites, and that means, you know, you can get one clipped. You know, it's not just the rollers pulling out the one clips anymore, Lace.
That's exactly right. You know, we can see some teams, they may just sort of take more of a full send approach because, you know, you got the same armors. But I have noticed a couple of teams not actually take a contest, and they'll want to go and upgrade their Evo shields. They don't want to be taken out by that one clip on white shield. So, you know, it's only 50 health. It's not a lot. You can be absolutely obliterated by, you know, a couple of bursts of a prowler. So you got to be extremely careful in taking those fights early on. But let's have a quick look over here. We're going to see a couple of our Evo upgrades. You know, we've been chatting about some of our, you know, meta picks where they've got different changes, but we're going to have a look at Conduit, which, you know, Gino, we've seen a couple more people pick up Conduit on Storm Point.
Indeed. So here's the stats for that. Shout out there to Esports Engine and EA who've been working on us to create these graphics. It's been awesome to get these stats online. You can see with Conduit, very obvious choice for level 2, right? Battery collection, it's nothing more than a nicety. You know, the pros, they can go to a death box. They can check for the batteries. They don't need to see it on the box. So for bigger jam, that makes 100% sense that you would be picking that 100% of the time. And then in the level 3 perk selection, that's where it starts to get a little more interesting. I mean, I played a bit of Conduit here in Season 20, Lace. I really like that split charge. And the reason for that is if you're timing it well, you can essentially, you know, you can get up to, what is that, like 250 extra shields for your team if you're pumping that out at the same time in quick succession in a fight. Radiant Transfer, it's interesting that they go for that with the increased tack range, because I personally would have thought, you know, taking these fights on a pro level, you're staying quite close-knit. So why do you need that extra range on the Radiant Transfer? I'm going to have to watch some of these VODs back and try and work out why the pros are picking that 40% of the time.
Yeah, exactly right. That's probably more for, us rankers that play solo and, you've got your teammate running into to Narnia and you've got to cover them for some shields or they'll start yelling at you through the microphone. But, we absolutely love that. But, yeah, Prozas should be saying sort of tight-knit. But, yeah, it's interesting to see the Conduit has sort of been picked a little bit less since the changes. And then having a look at that skill tree, I do feel like that the higher picks with the 60% and, the full charge on the other side, you would think to see her a little bit more, but again, we're still seeing Bangalore, Caustic, Bloodhound sort of coming through, which is, such a good crutch. And you would feel that, some enemy teams might want to still solidify. Me and Elfish touched on it before, picking up Bloodhound due to the fact that everyone is running a Bang and a Caustic and to see through all those levels of smoke.
Yeah, you kind of need to do it, right? The scan is just incredibly helpful here, and it almost feels like it's been quite a while now that we've, there's pretty much always been some kind of scan character in the meta. Obviously, Seer was there for the longest time in year 3 of ALGS, and now that he's been, basically nerfed into the ground, we are seeing teams pick up Bloodhound quite a bit more. But even, we were, sort of picking up on that Nox vision before, being one of Caustic's most picked perks as well. So even there, we're starting to see some of... just that any ability that gives you the permanent outline, not permanent, but, outlines on enemy players, very, very important and well picked.
Yeah, exactly right. So, the legend picks, are always a good staple, but let's go have a look at some of our heavy hitters here. Again, we've always seen Easy Flash on the board. We always talk about it, but, very close behind Gugu. Gugu does an amazing job at obliterating a lot of the competition genome, and you can definitely see why, Wonton, Dumpling, I call them the heavy hitters, the steamrollers, and Gugu is a big part of that.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And obviously he's been picking a lot of Horizon. I don't think we've been seeing him as much on Horizon today. I feel like, when we were talking about that before, no Horizon, at least in Storm Point. So considering a lot of people said that, characters like that were a crutch for some of these controller players, Lace, it's good to see him still out here and still doing well, being a little bit more flexible. Because I think once you get to the tippity top of Apex, you can't be a one-trick.
Yeah, exactly right. It's you've got to change with the meta, and we have been seeing that from quite a few of our teams. And yeah, it's been actually crazy not to see a lot of Horizons. You find that if you go into like the rank setting, you will find Horizon is still a top pick, but it's, our professional teams are showing us that you could choose these other ones and get it organized. So it's really good to see some different changes. I wasn't very happy about Caustic coming back, but that's totally fine. We're going to see some more. This is going to be our match number 6, our final game on Storm's Point. Let's take it away.
Final game indeed, at least for this lobby, and you guys don't need to worry about it because we've got plenty more coming for you after this lobby as well. We'll have the B and C lobby, so another 6 games of ALGS right after this one. Well, we'll have a little bit of a dinner break, but it won't be too long, so you've still got plenty of games to watch this evening if you're keen to stick around. But at least for now, we'll focus on what's happening for A and C, and for the final game on Storm Point for this lobby. How things are going to shape up. Those contests haven't really panned out on this map at all in the first couple of games, and can't imagine that that'll be changing up too much here for the third on the trot.
Nope. Sticking to their sides by the looks of it. I mean, sometimes you do see it change up in Game 6 just because teams are like, well, if we do it in Game 4, they'll expect it in Game 5 and 6. And that way, sometimes you can just sort of, mess with them in that last game. But yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily. That said, Ring does look like it could be pulling to Devastated Coast. So it could be a fun one. Even the building, the high building on the zipline, you can see that's in currently. Obviously, we've seen circles. This one doesn't seem quite as deep, but if that stays in for quite some time, we've obviously seen that that's an incredibly powerful position, especially if you can, chuck a Watson or a Caustic up there as well. So, I mean, what else is there to talk about? I mean, look, we don't have any early contests. I think it's interesting to see how a lot of these teams are now playing with PvE. I mean, look at Godhand over there at Launchpad right now. You can see how split they are. Dracoy is off doing the Prowlers. We've got Tracking Bad off doing the Spiders. And then Yesh is the one just picking up a lot of the loot over in the Launchpad itself. Meanwhile, you've got other teams who get access to Trident. They'll often just send a solo driver around to be grabbing any Evo harvesters that are out in the sea oftentimes. So, like, you know, there's one way out past to the east of Launchpad right now. I'm not sure if they have got that one or they will get it. But yeah, like, you know, certainly teams like them and Northpad will be looking for those options for early upgrades for Evos. Ooh, we're getting a nice little rat play up here by KPG.
Oh, that was a 3-2-1. I don't think they actually got the knock though, did they? He survived on 1 HP, so they're gonna have to continue that push. And now without the element of surprise, things get a little more difficult. The Horizon, the elevator is in effect, but where is the prey?
Yeah, Wade's actually got out. He's managed to get up and out through the building. Got a bat off. Still needs the med kit to come out because, as you said, he really was 1 HP when they hit that. So I like the thought from KPG, but it doesn't quite match up to the execution.
It's unfortunate.
And again, that's kind of what I was talking about, right? Like, that's a Game 6 play.
I mean, that was like so close though, you know, like you did everything right, really. Like the 3-2-1 was perfect. Everyone was hitting their shots. It just needed one more little bit of chip damage, and that could have been, if not at least a kill point, potentially even also a squad wipe or a couple of points on the board there. Either way, not the case. Full engage, getting knocked out early here in game 6. Rough start for them. Rough end for them, I suppose, it has to be said, because that'll be the end of this lobby at least. But Team Burger want to ensure that they have a good game here, because they're sitting in 3rd overall for this lobby. Very much still some big points on offer if they can have a good finish, have a good final game here, jump up to 2nd or into 1st. Obviously, you know, you get yourself more season points overall, and with that, more money, more chances of qualifying to go overseas as well. Every game matters at this stage of the season.
Yeah, kind of missed what happened there. Like, oh, so they'd run into Bearclaw Gaming. Could have been a rat play, actually, because Bearclaw Gaming are sitting in the tunnel, often where you see successful rat plays happen. And, oh, actually, no, that's full engages box they're going for. So, okay. Not entirely sure who Legends Gaming ran into then, but Easy Flash is taking the Trident well outside the ring to try and, once again, make a magical recovery.
Hot shots here from Serenity. Not amounting to a whole lot. T4 still sitting around with the whites, which is going to take some figuring out. Not seen too much from T4, unfortunately, today. I mean, 10th overall for this lobby. It's not a bad performance, really, but again, considering the circumstances that they were the team that came in last on the overall standings, they probably needed a little bit more. Unless, of course, they go on to maybe win the next lobby, but that seems a bit of a stretch.
And this is their game to do it, Elfish. I mean, you know, they land Devastated Coast, where the zone seems to be pulling. This is their time to shine. And a lot of teams, you know, they will grab just one big game if they get a zone pull to them and make their series off that.
Here's some revenge on offer for Team Burger. They already got that initial knock on one of the KPG members. It's actually 2-on-2 though. Again, the Horizon elevator coming into play for Pricey, who's just farmed and cleaned up. KeepGoing Gaming. They were the one that 3-2-1 Team Burger earlier on, and they have paid the price because Burger has turned around and fought back, and you can see some shots into the death boxes there, but maybe that was a little bit overzealous from Team Burger because there is a third party from Tom Young Kung hanging around.
Actually, they're playing it safe. They're playing it safe. They're going back. Yeah, they were definitely having a look at it, but they don't want to take this fight into the zone. I mean, Burger, they're a couple hundred at least away from their purples. And Tom Young Kung are actually probably closer overall. Neither team able to get that level 3 upgrade just yet, but interesting that they played that one so safe. You know, Tom Young Kung, obviously a team that loves a bit of a scrap. Wants to get in there. They've just spotted out Final Start in a Trident, actually. as we see Legends Gaming. So he did manage to get the respawn off in Cenote Caves.
Oh, wow. Well, Team Burger.
Oh, no. Yeah, Final Start moved in after that, so they've sort of taken up that vacuum that Tom Young Kung left. It doesn't really matter.
It's still early days. It's early days. They'll be alright. Plenty of meds available.
It's going to be a rough rotate here. Wei trying to pop the med kit so he has even the health to safely take this evac balloon. I think they popped 2 there just to try and, you know, secure their route through this next place. Looks like they will be going through command center. That's actually pretty free right now, so should be a safe rotate in, and then they actually I think there's a bit of space up the north side of this ring. Just depends if they run into, say, Tom Young Kung or XNY. As you can see there, they might go past, maybe even get a ring scan at Stormcatcher, and then make their way in as the ring is continuing to pull down towards MDY-WHITE, who have taken over the high building there in Devastated Coast.
Just keeps going in the direction of Devastated Coast, doesn't it? At least as much as it possibly can. It's not going to be able to get there completely. A couple of teams up in Launchpad that also have the information it's headed in that direction, so we'll be thinking about making their moves soon. X and Y, on the other hand, have bigger things to worry about, and it is just XD that's trying to clutch it out right now. And it seems like a fruitless venture as X and Y will go down. Bearclaw Gaming happy with the spoils of war, but need to be careful themselves because there's another team hanging around. That was Tom Yum Kung, I believe. But again, Tom Yum Kung, as we saw in the previous instance where they could have potentially third-partied, have once again decided not to, and they're going to go on their merry way and continue their rotation. So both teams safe.
Okay, looks like Team Burger have just got the player scan off. Let's see how that affects their decision-making.
We could like zone wrap.
Yeah, we need to get there before these guys like in zone. Down the bottom, go for it.
Yeah.
They're in the building. They're in the bottom building right now.
Dude, are you retarded?
Yeah, just go zone. Oh, okay.
You good?
I'm gonna slide down the price here. Sliding.
They're going for a play scan.
Yeah.
That's not hitting.
Let's go. Fuck it.
They've hit it.
They know we have blue as well. They might like try to run at us.
It is what it is then. Fight them.
I have no health mats.
They've evac.
They're evacing. They might take our spot. We need to go.
Yeah, I'm going.
Climb down.
Let's get to cannon.
Yeah. This whole side was free, right? I didn't look.
Yeah.
If anyone was Stormcatcher or anything.
Yep, it's fine.
They might even.
Get ready to fight. Dude. Oh, fucking neck, bro.
I don't see where these guys could be.
They're at the compound.
No, the evac team.
Yeah, they're at the compound.
Meds to wrap this?
Okay.
I got 4 syringe, 1 medi.
I have 3 rendered out. No, it should be easy,
I
bro.
have no health meds.
I can drop you syringes.
What's third looking like?
I just got 2. I got 4 syringes. I have 6 syringes now.
Alright, chillin'.
A lot of people will start entering in the zone.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely could wrap. There were 2 teams launchpad.
Let us follow it.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could hard wrap all the way around.
That's what I was thinking. We got a minute.
We have a minute.
Let's go.
We could go now.
Okay, Team Burger opting to go for the zone wrap. Luckily finding a couple of health meds there for Sharky to continue on. Pricey feeling his age with the neck. I get that. Have been to the physio recently. It's hard times out here.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed, especially as you age. Something that you hear a lot. You don't really take it in as a young lad, but starts hitting. 28, 29, I reckon.
Oh no.
Starting to struggle. Ooh, Tom Yum Kung also, speaking of, are struggling a little bit. Ziggy with the Beast of the Hunt should be alright to get out of there, but the teammates maybe not quite as happy about how things are playing out. So Bearclaw Gaming will pick up a couple more kill points. which are going to be pretty useful at this point, given that they're 13th overall still for this lobby. So, still kind of needing to get some points on the board. I don't know how much time left to do it. This is the last game.
Oh, nice long-range PK shot there from Belkin actually to finish that one off as the other two teams, or two of the teams, in Launchpad start to fight. Burger are pulling up to this as well. They have completed the zone rat now, and they are in on top of it. As you said, you know, those were important kills for Bearclaw Gaming. It's been a very slow day for them, unlike someone like Team Burger, who are really hitting their stride here, up at 50 points so far.
Looks like it could be a decent game for Burger as well. They have wrapped in on a pretty busy side of the zone, though. I guess that's a, you know, it's a benefit and a curse, because that means you are going to be fighting a lot. You're going to be getting your evos. You're potentially going to be getting a lot of points on the board, but also there's every possibility that you're just going to go down. I mean, VK's looking very healthy. They've got a set of reds, 2 sets of purples on the high ground as well. That'll be a tough team to push into if you're Team Burger.
Yeah.
You are kind of carrying away underneath them at the moment.
Yeah, they've only really got a tiny little rock to play on. There's not a lot of cover there for Team Burger. Hopefully, these other three teams are just locked into a struggle, a battle to the death here amongst themselves, and they don't catch too much of their attention.
Hostile spotted.
Yeah, well, VK's still keeping an eye on him. Here comes the rotation in from Team Burger. The smokes are going to go down.
Oof.
Oh, a crack. Some flesh damage as well. VK don't want to push, though. They've got the high ground. They're not going to get too over-aggressive. And Burger will be okay for the moment.
Scan goes out from Sharky. They've got the info on where these teams are playing. They know Akuma is underneath, Bearclaw on top, and then MXF in the other tunnel underneath as a duo, actually. They've lost the Newcastle.
This is looking rough for Bearclaw Gaming. Don't know that they're going to be given the opportunity to get res here at all, and the push is coming on through, but that was not very well coordinated by Akuma. It was kind of a 1-by-1 feed, and so Bearclaw Gaming actually do get a bit of a helping hand in the end.
Yeah, Wei also actually gets knocked there from Team Burger. He thought he was sneaking up behind them, had some grenades at the ready, but they turned around and just absolutely booked him. And it was a very costly mistake there from Team Burger. So instead of being in a prime position for third party some of this, well, maybe they still are. They've done a lot as a duo today. Pricey and Sharky at it again.
Yeah, MXF are doing a great job of holding onto the tunnel at the moment. Wonton certainly helping out with that. They've got the alternator pylon there as well as the fences. There's going to be a res through as well. So it's looking quietly like a pretty good game from MXF so far. Got Team Burger on the other side of this one, but there might be some free points on offer. Price is so low, and Sharky is out of there. He's kind of got nowhere to go, to be fair. MXF are also getting absolutely booked by that Bangalore ulti.
He's getting...
Oh, dearie me.
He still managed
Team
to get
Burger's
some
been
knocks.
eliminated.
Yeah, he did. He
but
was...
I don't know if MXF is going to last much longer either.
No, they got absolutely destroyed by the Rolling Thunder there, by Sharky, but I don't think they got finished off, unfortunately. Ooh. Now they're gone, but because obviously Burger go down first, so they won't get credited with those kills.
Wonton Dumpling also getting taken out on the other side of things, so with that in mind, it seems like it'll probably be Legends to take the first spot out of this lobby. With really good Akuma, Wonton Dumpling and Burger all eliminated so far in this game. Will be unable to catch them. MDY-WHITE far too far away in 5th there, so Legends Gaming will take first for the lobby.
So MDY-WHITE, they've parlayed that position in the high building up onto a fantastic spot in the zone, essentially the only team in the zone right now. Legends Gaming, as you can see, also in a solid spot there, and then you've got another 14. It's a bit of a fruit salad up north. Basically, Elfish, a couple of teams just sort of really struggling, and here we go. Godhand gets mopped up. If LU can reset here, they actually might be in a decent spot. T4 also trying to make their way out of this. And then you've got a solo Feiju. You just got to hope for the best. All
right, well, Legends are looking pretty good at the moment, top of the lobby. Let's see how the let's hear rather how they play out this final game.
Crack the hound! 30 flash on hound!
Bang ulting, I'm bang ulting.
Yeah. I'm playing close on bang ult. Careful, they have hound. Trying to nade. Walking.
They run back.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
It's free! It's free! We win this fucking game! Look back! Look
Yeah,
behind us!
Arjun on me.
Okay.
Good gen.
I'm dodging bang ult. Look behind us,
Walking
please!
in, walking in.
Left.
Bang! No!
Bang, bang, bang. Bang's on.
Conduit!
Bang.
Oh!
This one.
Hit him.
He's Jesus, dude. I'm saving my nade. Just take the conduit.
I got him.
Nice. We're fine. Look for kills. They're fighting!
They're fighting east.
We have to take this!
Really?
That's safe here. That's safe here. It's a different.
It's a duo! We just take this! Wait, they all died! Last duo. Oh my god.
Last duo.
Yeah, last duo. I'm nading them. I'm gonna ult this. I'm walking up.
I'm nading them as well.
They're swinging left.
Yeah, I'm nading left side.
I'm swinging left here.
I hit him 30.
Ban me.
I cracked him.
Nice!
Nice.
Go, boy!
Let's fucking go,
I cannot scream, bro. It's like on the internet cafe, bro. I cannot scream, bro.
14 points!
I cannot screaming, bro.
Wait.
Oh.
For 6. Gino, we had Wonton Dumpling getting knocked out about 9th place, which I think just let Legends Gaming sort of take over the lead there again. And you can hear the energy and the passion that they had going into the final match. Exceptional.
I mean, they knew they'd wrapped it up, right? I mean, you heard the calls. They were very well aware, laughing in the final moments because they knew how easy that cleanup was going to be once it was just, you know, a few scraps of the other teams left to go. Wow, that was a pretty awesome performance there by Legends Gaming in our first series for today. Yeah, that's they really continue to impress, don't they? And you know, we had that interview with Strafing Flame earlier on in the split, and we got to hear how they've been struggling in some ways, but certainly it's not reflected on the leaderboard.
Oh, yeah, you can't see that reflection whatsoever. They just seem to go in and absolutely obliterate everything, taking out, like, ample kills for the team, too. But, yeah, it's just delightful to hear, you know, the passion and the fun that they still have going into that last game. You know, it can get a bit tedious, but when you're in front of the pack, you know, you got to have smiles all around, Elvish.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, they're obviously, they're still keen to win. I was listening to that conversation that they were having. It was, well, maybe not so much a conversation as a shouting match, but I was thinking, man, you guys have already, like, basically dominated this lobby. Like, you know, at this point, I think you should know that you've won the lobby regardless of how this game actually plays out. And in turn, you've also probably won the split potentially as well. It kind of depends, I guess, on you know, how Wonton Dumpling goes in the next lobby, the B and C lobby. But either way, they're still sort of pushing for every single point that they can possibly get, which is great to see, right? That's the fight. That's the competitive nature that some of these guys have got, and that's I think part of the reason why they're on top at the end of this season. And well, they may not end up being first, but they'll certainly be in the top 2. And a great game from them to finish things off.
Yeah, last game for Legends Gaming. Another last game is Bearclaw Gaming as well. I don't know if you can have a look there. They were ahead in the kills, 11 kills for Bearclaw Gaming. You know, they had such an exceptional lead with kill points, but unfortunately, you know, not hitting in those top 5 positions, which, you know, could be quite detrimental to them because they are fairly low on the overall standings. But as we take a look at where everybody is sitting, where everybody is placing, this is the juicy stuff we want to know. Legends Gaming, of course, out in front.
Yeah, big one. 80 points. I don't know if I think that might actually be their strongest lobby of the season so far. I was having a quick look. I'm not going to 100% lock it in, but that's a very big lobby. 80 points on the board. And obviously, Wonton Dumpling second, Team Burger third, Akuma fourth. That didn't change up too much after the first sort of 3-4 games. We saw these 4 teams in the top. MDY-WHITE did a pretty good job for themselves. T4 as well, has to be said, top 6. That's a pretty good shout for the lobby. I don't know how that's going to affect them for the overall standings, whether that puts them within striking distance to make it into the top 20 overall. For T4, that's kind of the conversation that they're thinking about at the moment. I think that's a guess, probably done enough for them if they have a really high placing in the next lobby as well. But obviously it's a tough ask, so we'll see how things go when we do get into that next lobby. But yeah, overall, a couple of teams that we expected to be toward the top end pretty much doing what they were expected to do, which was, yeah, win the lobby, which is, you know, Legends Gaming, definitely Wonton, Dumpling have been good this season. Team Burger, big names in there as well. They all do well today. But yeah, a couple of the other teams that were sitting towards the bottom end of the scoreboard overall have actually kind of upheld their end of the bargain too, and kind of keep things interesting going into that next lobby.
Yeah, Lightning Unicorn, I think, were one there that I'm going to note. You know, they were in 16th. They had an epic start to the season, then had a couple of, 2 split point rounds. So that's something like, I don't know, 18th in the group, which is obviously horrendous. But now a bounce back, and they're pushing further towards definitely making regional finals, I would say. But, you know, maybe even an outside chance to make it towards LAN, or perhaps just try and grab that match point victory and send themselves straight overseas.
Yeah, it's just, you know, like you said, they did start out quite strong in our first couple of weeks in the split. And then, yeah, had a bit of a mediocre sort of push there and not collecting enough kill points. But, yeah, just seeing them be able to turn it around is absolutely exceptional. One of our favourite logos of all time. I definitely know I love Lightning Unicorn and all that they do. So I really hope that, you know, this is enough to sort of put them in those top 20 squads. But like you were saying before, Elfish, you know, T4 are right down the bottom there on our overall standings, and although having a cracker of a game there, they're going to have to do something crazy in our next lot of 6 matches.
Yeah, most definitely. I have to have a bit of a deeper look into it over the break and see exactly what they would need to do and where they'd need to place. And you know, I think there's a few teams that are probably in a position where it's like, well, if you don't win the lobby, you're not going through to next week. And the fact that you're toward, you know, maybe like 28th, 29th sort of position overall for the season, chances are you're probably not a team that's going to be of the caliber to win a lobby. So it's going to be a tough ask to do, but, you know, it's always sort of relevant to talk about it when it is mathematically going to be possible. And at the end of the day, it's going to take a lot of work for some of those teams to make it happen, but not the case for Legends, obviously, sitting on top of the pack.
I mean, 2 firsts, right? One map away from grabbing a bonus point there, and even on the other side of it, they were, what, like 35 points ahead of the next team or something? So, again, and about 15 points away from getting a bonus point that way. So that in itself tells you this was a pretty dominating performance here from Legends Gaming.
Yeah, and when we add on, I guess, those series points, what's that, pushed them about to 109. But, you know, Wonton Dumpling still have, you know, that chance to play again. But it's, you know, even if I guess they take out the next win, that still might not even be enough to take over them. So it looks like, you know, Legends Gaming have kind of solidified themselves that first place, which is absolutely exceptional. And, you know, we're going to see some other teams competing. You know, a little bit fearful for like the likes of VK Gaming, you know, who really need to sort of push themselves a little further, because, you know, you're going to have aggressive teams come in like Dreamfire and Boogie Borders. So will they have the stamina to compete in another 6 matches and really push themselves above those last, you know, the top 20 teams?
I'm definitely looking at, you know, War Monster Firebird for our next series, who started off, again, like Lightning Unicorn, started off the season very strongly, and then, you know, a real precipitous fall off after that. But, you know, still every chance that they can make this regional final. And with such a shakeup here in Season 20, I feel like that really gives an opportunity. It's like it's almost like a mental reset for a lot of these teams who might need some sort of motivation, some sort of just way back into the split.
Yeah, we always talk about that, you know, there's playing the 6 matches and sort of getting yourself into it and then playing another 6. A lot of teams can either, you know, feel the fatigue, or it can be on the opposite end of the spectrum. It can be, you know, their warm-up games for the first 6, and then the next 6 they absolutely dominate. So it could go either way for the teams there. But, you know, it's been absolutely amazing watching, you know, Lightning Unicorn perform, and Legends Gaming, of course. You know, this is, like I said, the last time we see them play. Team Burger as well. We're not going to see them in the next matches from here on out. And a couple of other teams, but, you know, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And, you know, we're jumping into Season 20 with all these changes, Elfish, and, you know, we've watched our 6 games. Going into this, do you feel like a lot of these teams have solidified the changes? Do you feel like they've kind of got these changes under the reins, as we would say?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting conversation to have. I think it's probably a bigger conversation than what we can really afford to have on a platform like this. But my gut feeling would be that it's still probably a little bit too early to tell exactly where things are going to land. I mean, the teams have had, what, a couple of weeks of scrims, and I've been seeing scrims like every single day, basically. People are playing a lot. They're trying to sort of get skilled up, get ready to go. But I wouldn't be hugely surprised to see things changing over the next couple of weeks. And also, you know, presumably there's going to be some, like, patches, you know, little minor fixes here and there, these sorts of things, like certain things are going to be buffed, nerfed, etc., change. So things could definitely sort of change up over the next couple of weeks. So I would say for now we're in a good spot, but I would expect things to change.
Yeah. And, you know, we've got something a little bit special for you guys. You've been watching this team absolutely dominate the competition, Legends Gaming. We do have Strafing here on the line. Probably going to give us a nice little outlook of how they've just been playing. We heard the giggles, we heard the passion, and now we get to talk to Strafing.
Hello, hello.
Hello there, Strafing. How are you feeling taking out the win in that last match and absolutely dominating across this whole season? Myself and the casters were just, you know, feeling the passion from you guys, having a nice laugh at the end. Were you sort of taking it seriously, or were you just having a bit of fun?
No, I mean, we absolutely take it seriously, right? We want to finish out on top, and it's been great, like getting back in the groove of things and like finally locking in a win again after our, you know, previous performance last week. It was yeah, a little bit uninspirational, so bringing it back this week and playing really well. That 22 kill game at Siphon, like that felt really good.
Yeah, that was nuts. I mean, okay, let's talk about that a little bit then, because we had a lot of vision of that Strafing, and one of the things that really impressed me was your ability to reset, and it was like literally every time we saw you, one of your guys was knocked, but you were still somehow just running through these teams and getting the resets again and again. Like, what's the secret sauce there?
Oh, we've actually been working on that specifically. I don't wanna be giving in any secrets, you know, but I'm gonna give credit to that one, like for that one to Dan, our coach Neil. Like he was very adamant that we like worked on our resetting, and we, you know, actually just did it really well.
Right. And that's been awesome to see as well. And I guess I wanted to touch on as well, Strafing. We've just had major changes to Apex Legends. Obviously, don't give us away all your secrets, but, you know, changes with the Evo shields and changes with the way that, you know, I guess the meta. How have you guys been just, you know, I guess having to do all those changes in such a short amount of time? Did you find it easy, or did you find it a little bit difficult to pick up?
So I think it was a really healthy change for the game, right? And I did find it a little bit like hard, but that's just because of the amount of changes, right? There's so many things that could like happen in a game now that there's so many more factors that go into like all of the abilities. I think the hardest part though is just that APAC-South scrims, you know, they didn't really start for a while, so we were struggling to get games in once the new update dropped, but yeah, we were pretty confident we were gonna like figure it out, and we kind of did.
All right, well, I guess to sort of round things out, obviously you guys are done with all of your games. You're not playing in the next lobby. You're currently, I'll say, sitting on top of the overall standings. So is there any concern about potentially dropping off of first place? I mean, Wonton, Dumpling are relatively close behind, or do you think you've done enough with that win in this lobby to sort of stay on top for the overall standings going into next week?
Yeah, look, I love Gugu, but I am praying on their downfall, you know. A little 20th place wouldn't really hurt us, you know. But yeah, we're expecting to fall off first place for a little bit, but we're also fully expecting to bring it back in regional finals. I think we're finally like back on form, and very confident going into this.
Definitely expecting you guys to be very strong when we get those top 20 teams over there in regional finals. One more question from me, Strafing. You guys were picking up the conduit a bit today. Because we were having a look at some of the stats before, and I was actually quite surprised to see only 60% of the teams were picking up the double Radiant transfer perk, and then 40% were picking up the extra 10-meter range. Which one were you guys going for, and why?
So we were actually going for the 10-meter range, but it's not really for the range. It's more the doubles the cooldown. So it essentially makes Conduit a lot less flexible, because for 30 seconds, like for the same amount of cooldown, you're only getting half the heal, right? So theoretically, if you have both heals, that's always going to be better than just one heal, because it's a lot more flexible, like in the things you can do with it. But practically, that doubling of the cooldown, like that hurts a lot.
Okay, yeah, wow, great insight there.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear because, Gino and I were kind of discussing, I guess, would people use it more in rank when you're sort of playing, solo in a ranked match and your team's running away. But interesting to hear from yourself and the reason as to why, I guess, you break it down in that sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually, sorry, one more I was going to ask you there. Strafing was, last time we had you on here, you were talking about, the issues you were having sort of recovering in the off season and stuff. How has that been since then? Do you think, getting back into sort of scrimming and ALGS and everything, are you feeling like you're back on the mend and on a good track when we even think ahead to LAN?
Yeah, thank you for asking, but everything's going really well. Yeah, we're very confident that we'll be like fully prepared for LAN and better than we were going into it last time. So I've started been able to like grind again. Like my injury is no longer holding me back at all, and I can really play as much as I want now. So that's been really healthy for the team.
That's so great to hear.
Well, that's all the questions I think we have for you, Strafing. Thank you so very much for answering the ins and outs from a professional level. I know myself, and I'm sure the casters as well, it's been an absolute pleasure watching you and also, wrangling in Easy Flash and all the craziness that he does as well. So thank you so very much for chatting to us today. And you need to go and relax, sir, because you have had such an epic start to Split 1. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And you know what? It's always really good to see sort of get a chat with our pros, Genome. We have a couple of listens in when they're live and happening in the match, but just to have them, break down what goes through their minds afterwards is truly exceptional.
Yeah, I think he's probably got the best record of anyone we've listened into in terms of like closing out games while we're actually hearing them. So yeah, not a bad record there for Legends Gaming.
Exactly right. And that was our final match there. It's match 6 on Storm Point for our first couple of groups. We're going to take a little bit of a longer break now. I'm sure we're going to eat a lot of food, us casters. So we'll take a break. We will see you next after this, and we're going to have our next lot of groups. So we'll see you shortly.